Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 OnTap Sportsnet NFL Draft live stream. I'm your host, Brandon Suarez. You can follow me on Twitter at Bdon300. Today, I'm joined by two of my co-hosts, and don't worry, Ron is behind the microphone somewhere. He's on the ones and twos today. We got a lot of graphics. There's Ronnie.
What's up, boys?
We got a lot of graphics that we want for the people. Big boards, player profiles, all sorts of stuff. A lot of fun stuff for today. We all got the draft live on in our family rooms, in our basements, in our kitchens, wherever we're hanging out at. I'm the shitbag in my kitchen because I'm sitting at my kitchen table. But, yeah, and I don't have the piano behind me today. I had to sell it because, I did not get any of my draft.
Too many draft props.
Yeah, too many draft props were wrong. The mock draft was not right, but we took the time and put in the work, and a lot of the picks that we had, we were like one pick off, missing like by a position. So it is what it is. I had fun doing it, and I'm going to do it again next year, and then next year, and the next year. But today, I'm joined by my co-host, Joey Knows Nothing, Joey Ricotta. He's going to be in here just for the Bears picks. He's going to be popping in and out. And then today, you got Quintin, Mr. Buttkiss Stats below me, and he is, the draft extraordinaire, the guy that put together the OnTap Sportsnet draft guide, all the player profiles, even Mr. Bobby Boucher. So before we get started, we'll get Joey. We'll get all his opinions first because I want Joey to get all his takes off before we pick. So right now on my screen, and I'm a little delayed, but I just saw that the Texans took Jalen Petrie, safety out of Baylor. Love that pick. Texas kid. The dude lays the wood. He comes up to and he jumps a lot of routes. He's real aggressive. I like that. But before we get into the Jalen Petrie pick, Joey, we are about a pick and a half out. Pick 1.5 for our gambling guys, if you will. Who are we taking?
Dude, if it stays like this, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like Nakobe Dean is just the best value on the board at this point. So I know we need a cornerback. I would love Andrew Booth Jr. as well. I know I think he was dealing with a sports hernia, but that shouldn't be a big deal. I don't know, the big issue, and I'm hoping you guys can kind of help me with Nakobe Dean's issue, why he's falling. I know he's got some medical things, I believe, as well, but I just think he's the best player on the board, and I think he's going to pair well with Roquan. Roquan can do anything. You put him over on the other side, Nakobe Dean's the best player on the board, I feel like. And that's who I really want to take here.
So the reason why he's fallen is probably a mix of the medicals and measurables. I think some teams just took him off their board because he didn't meet certain length height requirements, straight up. He's an instinctive player. I think he's a good player, but my worry with the Bears is you're going to be paying Roquan Smith $20 million a year in the next year. And then you're also throwing a premier pick at linebacker next to him as well. It seems like a lot of resources go into a position that has kind of been phased out a little bit over the years. Not that linebacker doesn't matter, because it's still on the field. It's still a position that matters. But that's my worry with it. It's almost a position where you can get by with average guys more easily than other spots, I think. Which is why if they stay, I want to see them trade out.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a real
if they stay,
I'm okay with that too. I actually really like that idea too as well. I just feel like, like I said, I think Dean is the best player on the board. I don't know who the Falcons are going to take here.
It says the picks in, but they haven't said anything about it.
So the Falcons, they need quarterback. I said it about 50 times last night that this has to be Malik Willis, so I'm not saying it anymore. But they need quarterback, they need edge rusher, and they need interior O-line. So
if they can get Malik Willis in the second round after all the smoke that was blown the week before the draft, all the odds on the book shifted to him being the first quarterback selected, everything, for them to get him in the second round without having to trade out. I wasn't really a big fan of the Drake London pick, so maybe they get a little redemption by getting Malik Willis in the second round. But
it would be. I'm honestly starting to think it might be the best move in the draft. Whoever takes him, because that guy. He was in the green room all night last night.
We're gonna get answers.
Those guys are supposed to go that early. When they get snubbed like this, they usually get a pretty damn big chip on their shoulder.
Absolutely, man. Oh yeah, and that's the thing though. Malik Willis, I don't know how you guys feel about him. Overall, I don't think he's the best quarterback in this draft. And I know
you think it's Carson Strong. So
yeah.
give us your Carson Strong
I'm just gonna tell you, if he's healthy, if he can get healthy, like I love Carson Strong. Yeah,
I'm with you. I just don't trust his knee to last 5 years.
I agree with that too. I don't trust it. Technically, I don't trust it.
He's a monster.
The upside for him, like with his arm, is like up here when everyone else is kind of like
he's got a to put it in Bears terms, he's got a Jay Cutler arm. Like he can just launch it.
Dude, he can absolutely cannon it with a cigarette in his mouth all day.
The pick is in for the Falcons.
And it's like honestly, the story behind his injury too is just like it's wild stuff, man. Like he had like 9 screws put in his knee at one point. Like he's bone on bone in there. He's playing through intense pain and still doing what he's doing. Like it's incredible.
Yeah,
I honestly wonder, could the guy just get a knee replacement? And then he's gonna be in the wheelchair by the time he's like 50 because of it. But like
he's not going Tom Brady length.
But like, all right, so call a spade. We're all gamblers here. You can't say that you haven't needed Carson Strong to score a late touchdown for you at like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh man,
back at the end of the night.
He's the comeback Nevada king, man.
Bro, those helmets, the Wolfpack helmets and jerseys are an elite setup for a Mountain West team too. All right, Roger, tell us the pick. I know you're getting booed right now, but
they've been taking. Is it just me or like last night, dude? They took so long,
like longer than like 15 minutes before it's in.
I think every team was just like running up to the podium, except for the few teams who got like completely panic mode, like the Cowboys and the Patriots, who were like, we had a trade in place, but someone jumped us, and now we don't, and we have no idea what we're gonna do.
The Patriots getting the kid out of Chattanooga. That's such a Belichick pick right there.
I'm all about the Chattanooga guys.
I think that kid's going to be good. It just seems like, wow, what a reach.
All right.
Gentlemen, the Chicago Bears.
We are on the clock. Dude, it's got to be Booth. It's got to be Booth because we can't get Watson now. Watson's gone.
I'm okay with Booth, dude. I love Booth.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it as a family right now. Love George Pickens. Really good at football, but disciplinary issues, likes to fight people, suspended from the team multiple times. I just don't know if I want to take that pick right here.
I don't want it.
So if Atlanta didn't just do what they did and take Ebiketie, I'd be taking Ebiketie. But I'm taking David Ojabo. Like Robert Quinn's not going to be here past next year.
Because Ryan's going to be competitive next year.
I wish Robert Quinn could stop time and be here for the next 5 years, but it's not realistic. He's not going to be here after next year. I mean, I really like what's his name, the other edge rusher that we got from the 5th round 2 years ago, Travis Gibson. I really like Travis Gibson, but I don't know that he's a high caliber starting player. He might be, but we don't know that yet. I think Ojabo has that upside to be like a Pro Bowl edge rusher that you look like a genius when he comes through.
And the thing is too, like he is a turnover creator. Like he is a sack strip guy. Like every single time he gets back there, always putting the ball on the dirt. He's a big play guy. He's a big game guy too. If you saw him in the Ohio State game and in the Big Ten championship and in the big spots that they needed him, he was always there. And honestly, I think like this is not like a hot take by any stretch, but Aiden Hutchinson stole a lot of his shine because Ojabo is a fine player. And
he created a lot of it.
He should have been a first-round pick. Yeah. Obviously, with the injury, he's going to.
Yeah, that torn Achilles. So I was talking to. I asked a physical trainer who I know about his like tearing your Achilles at his age, and they were like, "It's nothing to worry about at that age. He's going to come back just fine." And obviously, they've never worked with him and don't know that like intimately. Yeah. But like they seem fairly confident that like that's something a 22-year-old should be able to bounce back from pretty easily.
All right, everyone, gun to head real quick. Pick is in. Joey, who you got?
I want it to be Dean. I'm going to say it's going to be Booth.
Okay, Quintin.
Ojabo.
Ron.
I'm all for the Booth pick, baby. Let's get it.
I have placed a wager on the Chicago.
I like the Ojabo pick too. If we're being honest,
I'll just be honest. I just hope it's not Bernard Raymond.
Yeah, don't be Raymond.
That's just what I'm like.
Raymond is older than everyone on this stream, and that is a fact.
I don't want him here. If they take him later, I'd be okay with that. I don't want him here.
Yeah. Like later in the draft, I'd be fine with it. But like
ranking wise, I actually kind of like. There's things with him I like though. too.
Raymond's a really strong prospect. I just hate that he's 25 years old and might not be good at football until he's 27.
Exactly.
Right.
He's Brandon Whedon, but on the offensive line.
He's not going to be. I don't think he's quite ready yet.
For me, I'm going Booth. I placed a little wagey on it, plus 350. I didn't think that Booth would actually slip, so I thought it was going to be like Petrie or McCreary.
The fact,
dude, I thought Booth was going like
far makes me nervous about his medicals. Not
so fun fact, gentlemen. We have some news in the comments that Lance Briggs tweeted the pick. Do we want to share it now, or
don't look? Don't look. I want raw. I want to be cut down like a tree when it's not a cornerback. And
double nickel barbecue just ruined it for everybody.
We're all going to be separate times.
Oh my god, dude! It's going to be like, all right, it's honestly going to be Sky Moore. Watch, it's going to be like a.
Dude, I don't want
I could get hyped about Sky Moore, man. I could get hyped about that.
Sky Moore put 4 touchdowns on NIU, and I was not.
I don't know that it would be the smartest pick, but I could definitely get hyped about it.
I just think you already have a receiver that's similar to Sky Moore and Darnell Mooney. You don't need to. Possession guy, and that's the tough one. Yeah, possession guy, but he has a bigger frame, you know.
Sky Moore?
They want an X.
Didn't Sky Moore have some drop issues too, or was that? Or am I thinking of Watson more so?
Watson had bigger drop issues.
Okay, but this would be more of a slot guy.
Everyone, look at the bottom of the screen. Look at Ron. He's working. Ron in the chat.
Oh no! He's gonna put it up there before I see it live. I can guarantee you.
Goodness. Look, Lamar Jackson.
Stop it.
Oh, man.
I don't even know who that is. Is that an actor? That's got to be like an actor or something.
Like, honestly, there's so many ways the Bears could go here. Like, the more you think about it, the more you're like, man, they need stuff everywhere.
I'm watching the
interior D-line.
I was doing simulations
so many ways
on PFF earlier, and it was like needs everything. I started dying. It was for the Texans. I don't mean to call them out, but it was for the Texans.
Kind of feels like us too at times.
All right, you guys
Matt Forte looks good in the suit.
You know that I'm like
Forte always just looks good.
3 business days behind on my cable, but oh my god, the guy with the bare heads there.
Oh, dude, I'm watching.
Dude, he's everywhere.
Woo. It's a dapper young man right
Gordon. There. All right.
Oh,
I can live with that.
Plus 3.
I can live with that.
Let's go.
Wait, I didn't see it yet.
Kyler Gordon.
Jeff Bezos.
Kyler Gordon out of Washington.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Let's go.
Hey, I'm good with that pick.
Yeah.
It's not dude, I love Ojabo there, but we need a corner badly.
All right, so we
don't have a receiver who's worth taking with this pick or an offensive lineman.
We avoided being very nervous about Booth being selected there, and there's no injury issues with Kyler.
No injury issues, yeah.
Dude,
nah.
Not that I know of.
The closing speed I want. All right, so I sat back I got off of work at like 4:00, and I just went into my family room and just turned on YouTube and just like played like you ever seen Fever Pitch? You ever seen Fever Pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen Jimmy Fallon with the Carl Yastrzemski song. He's like, Carl Yastrzemski. I'm just sitting in my family room just rewatching like different dudes' highlight tapes. And one of the last 2 people that I watched, Kyler Gordon and Booth. The way Gordon attacks a receiver and attacks the ball in aggressive manners to where he's not going to get beat behind him, I love it. I love the pick. We needed someone to stack across Jalen Johnson. And it's not – I mean, we didn't get Watson. It's not George Pickens. We're not worried about all that. We got a good young man from Washington. It says honorable all Pac-12 player, honorable mention. And he played alongside another great corner in McDuffie. So you could even make the argument that maybe he hasn't scratched the surface on who he is as a corner with him always being that number 2 guy. Yeah.
I mean, Washington's always putting out these good corners, man. They're like every year they have corners going in the first and second round. Kyler Gordon, actually, he reminds me of Kyle Fuller a lot when I see him play, too. Like you said, he doesn't let anyone get behind him, but he just attacks downhill on the football. And especially the way that at Virginia Tech, Fuller was used all over the field. Gordon had a little bit of that, too, going inside, outside, just kind of roaming around. This guy's an athlete. I mean, his 40 was a little below average, but his agility's out of this world. He can jump out of the stadium.
He tackles most of the time. He tackles.
He comes downhill in the run game too. Like he'll get after it in the run game. He makes some stops.
Well, it's interesting. You think about like Kyle Fuller was really kind of drafted as like a a cover 2 corner because the Bears were still running that Lovey defense in Trestman's first year. And again, we're looking for a Lovey corner. And I'm saying that he kind of reminds me of Kyle Fuller. Like y'all are right. He does come downhill on the run, which is so important when you're running a lot of cover 2. I like it.
I like it too. This is one of them that I was okay with.
Ron, chime in on it. It's your time to shine now.
Nah, I was gonna say I do like the pick. I think the more I've literally just had 3 friends text me and say Kyle Fuller is who they think of when they watch this pick. So I think it's funny that everybody's kind of using that. But again, I love what you guys said too, because it's so perfect, right? Like you nailed it on the head. In the Tampa 2 inspired 4-3, you need corners that can play the run. You need it. If you don't have it, you are going to get eaten alive on the outside. Look at those great Bears defenses of the mid 2000s. Peanut Tillman was a great tackler. Even Jennings, when he came in and had a couple Pro Bowl seasons, was a willing tackler in the run game. Now they have a guy that they like, and I don't hate the idea of it being a guy that maybe we all don't know, but if they did their homework and they really like him. That's exactly what I like to see. Also, can we talk about the definitely not made up fun fact here with Kyler Gordon really quick? That he actually petitioned to NASA to change the name of the planet Uranus. That is absolute pure gold that you will not get. This is the on-tap difference, folks. If you're listening along, by the way. This is the on-tap difference. You're not getting that anywhere else. I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was hysterical.
100% not made up, all inside 100%. Sources. His uncle told me that.
Incredible. I was going to say, so
that's hilarious.
Quintin,
absolutely
since
incredible.
You are the one who made the draft profiles, I cannot claim ownership over the mutes on my screen. As you saw in the mock draft article from OnTapSportsNet.com, this guy, he put in the work,
now. That's hilarious.
But I want to know, how long did it take you to come up with the definitely not made up whatever the heck I just tried to say? The definitely not made up fun fact. How long did it
was
take you to come
definitely
up with
a process. So like my co-host on the Shaving Points podcast, I asked him for a bunch and he started texting his family, just asking them like, text me the most random like fun facts you can think of that would just be funny. And so that's about half of them. And the other half was just me sitting in front of my computer, writing them down on my phone whenever I saw it, like just randomly thought of one. Yeah. Once you like get in the mindset of making them, you start to come up with them really easily. It's just hard to get there.
Bruh, when we were doing the mock draft, so for those of you that saw our mock draft, although we were not correct, a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears, and beers were put into that mock draft. And when I was sitting there looking at some of these definitely not made up fun facts, like you'll see when we get to some of the other profiles, bro. These are some good jokes. Oh, Boye Mafe to the Seahawks.
Yeah, Boye Mafe just went off the board to Seattle.
I like that pick. So if we could switch to Boye Mafe, we'll start talking about the Seahawks. And then too, it's like, bro, it's rapid fire today. All right. So do you think we trade out of this next pick since we didn't trade out of the first? Because
I think they need to.
Love
they
Gordon.
Need to.
They had to love Gordon to get him there, right?
I'm wondering if they had a hard time getting anyone to trade up. Like, I'm betting that they were trying.
Because the only trade so far was the Green Bay trade up to get Christian Watson, correct?
Yeah,
that pisses me off. They tried to undercut some teams like us.
All right, so Joe.
Yeah, no, the Packers do that to the Bears all the time. Like that's like the fourth or fifth time I can remember it happening where they trade ahead of us in the second round.
Who did we have in the mock? I think we either had Traylon Burks or Watson mock there. I don't remember which one it was. I'd have to double check and look.
You had who, Burks or?
We had them getting one of the receivers that we
had them getting Burks. We had them getting Burks at like 23, I think.
I knew they weren't going. They don't like drafting receivers early. Like Green Bay's weird like that. They'll try to take value. They like edge rushers. They will take
anyone that running backs. Help out Aaron Rodgers. That's what they like. Wait, they got back-to-back picks. They're 40.
Yeah, anything to not help out Rodgers.
Well, that's why.
Honestly,
so
once those receivers went though, like all those receivers,
they're drafting Sky Moore right here.
It made sense not to me.
Just to get the Tyler Lockett replacement.
Like, I think the Packers 100% would have taken Traylon Burks, but he wasn't there.
Then and Rodgers, I guess, like Jameson Williams too. But I mean that,
either one was. So did I. I hope he gets to 39.
Yeah. So it's the same with Olave. I wanted Olave at 39. Like,
they were comping Traylon Burks to Deebo Samuel, bro.
Really? I mean, I guess that's
just unfair expectations.
There's your Kenneth Walker pick there.
Oh man!
Oh dude, that's a great pick.
Seattle's
gonna do good. Oh, I like that.
So we got Joey in here, the on tap bets guy. Why don't you tell everyone real quick what your pick of the day was yesterday, because it still has plenty of time to happen.
Yeah,
I don't think you can even bet on it still, and then me and Quintin will go through our bets that we had for today, because yesterday is a long time ago and it's gone and we did not win yesterday.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I know that there's still teams that need a quarterback here that, well, they're going to take a shot on one anyways.
I mean, dude, you got like 80 plus, or I'm not a math guy, maybe like 70 plus things.
70 plus to get there to the
72. There's not 72 better football players in the draft.
Yeah, no, there's definitely not. Like, he's a top 100 prospect. He's, in my opinion, if he didn't have this injury risk, or all these issues with the knee, the surgeries, me and Quintin and you guys were talking about it before kind of jumping on here live. I think Carson Strong has the potential to, if he could somehow stay healthy, get a knee replacement, whatever. I think Carson Strong could be the best quarterback in this class, just from a pocket presence standpoint, from an arm standpoint.
Joey, like, the top rope.
Listen, a hot take it might be, but that was my bet, under 116.5. Like, you're talking Jacob Eason territory when you start talking about that range of like draft picks. You're talking about Ryan Finley was drafted ahead of that, Will Greer, like guys like that. Carson Strong is nowhere near those guys as far as talent and like prospect pedigree goes. As far as injury, that's the big risk, and that's why you're seeing some of these other guys fall. And you see it every year, really, with the medical concerns. But yeah, it's probably a hot take, but I think like Carson Strong, to me, I watched too much of his games late at night. Those Nevada games, seeing him come back down from like last 2 minutes of the game and like
they score a lot of points in that conference. That's one of my favorite conferences to watch.
Oh,
I don't care.
No question, man.
I can't wait. I can't wait to just put like an entire Saturday's worth of winnings on Utah State responsibly.
Yeah, you have to dive into the waters, especially
just don't put on Hawaii, because Hawaii is not actually a state; it's an island.
That's a trap gambling team. That's a trap gambling team. It is.
Did y'all know on Carson Strong that he destroyed his knee between his junior and senior year, so he had like no college offers, but Nevada offered him at the beginning of his junior year, and that's the only reason he still had that one, because they were just like, sure, we'll stay faithful to it, even though your knee is just destroyed. And they paid off. Yeah, it paid off big time for them.
They won a lot of football games while he was there. All right, so me and Quintin, we didn't even call each other and tell each other to put on the same shirt. We just both happened to have Kenneth Walker as the first running back selected, and that obviously did not happen. No. But I also had the Chicago Bears to select a defensive back with their first pick, plus 350. That's the only bet I made on the Bears, so I like that. I honestly thought it was going to be Booth, though. I'm not disappointed in it being Gordon. I'm glad it's not McCreary, and I wouldn't have hated Petrie either. But I think, like, Eberflus is a defensive-minded guy. That's, like, my whole reasoning behind the pick. I almost did linebacker because of the Nakobe Dean factor and just the factor of having two like dog ass Georgia linebackers in the middle of your defense. Like, just the Chicago Bears fan in me, I wanted that. Like, I wanted the air that.
Hey, we all got a meatball sometimes.
Yeah, we got a meatball sub, extra marinara, extra mozzarella with a little jardinera on top. Where did my sister? I brought her a little tub of jardinera last week when I went to Colorado, and she was like, because they don't sell that out. It's a Midwest thing only. I bring it back down to Texas every time. Quinn. You can't get it anywhere else. But
that's weird. I didn't actually know that. I knew it was a Midwest thing, but I didn't know you couldn't get it there.
Currently have a trade on the clock. By the way,
I was going to say we got a trade.
Yeah, Minnesota traded in, right?
The Vikings.
I don't know where they're going to go with this pick, to be honest. I mean, maybe defensive back because they see a chance to get Andrew Booth.
They need a 5 technique on the D line. They need an offensive guard. They need a cornerback. I mean, they went safety with Lewis Seen in the first round. So, I mean, at corner, they got Cam Dantzler, Pat Peterson, Shandon Sullivan and Harrison Hand.
Yeah, they need some help there. Young corners, but I don't think they drafted the right young corners.
They've lost him. Like, Dantzler's not even in Minnesota anymore. He's someplace else. He was TCU. He was like a very highly rated corner. A bunch of people had the Bears take him, and I was like, don't take him. TCU corners do not do well.
I mean, since
I thought he was going to be better than his
prospect.
Well, so he ran into a bunch of off the field stuff. Like he had some real bad off the field stuff that, like, with guns and illegal shit, and
the whole Raiders situation.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He was doing the
shows you what type of ship that Zimzam was running up there.
Nuts, man, nuts.
But I think they're going corner because there's no interior line at this spot that you'd say, man, we got to trade up for that guy. But there is a corner.
Are they going Booth? You think?
I think they go.
Yeah, or I think they could go after a 5-tech too. I forget who's here, but I think there's one or two guys who can play a 5-tech.
They probably thought that they would have been able to get Hall at the beginning of the day, but no one thought that the Bucs were going to get Hall.
Yeah, dude, can I just say something real fast?
They were 2 picks in. They literally had the second pick today. They were probably coming into the day like, we're going to get Hall, and then he goes right away to the Bucs, which means Donkey Kong Sue will not be re-signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Donkey Kong Sue.
Yeah, no shot.
Dude, I just gotta say something real fast. Quintin, your fucking draft guide, dude, incredible. Like yesterday,
is that the key appeal, dude?
I copied it and like did it on my computer.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was just following along with it, and then just went back. It was so helpful for me to see like who's left on the board by not looking at like a Mel Kiper Jr. best available. Like,
the pick is in, boys. Who are the Minnesota?
Dude, could not stand.
I'm glad you got good use out of it, man.
Absolutely, man.
That thing was
it was I love it.
Yeah.
That's why we couldn't not do a stream. But doesn't Key from Key and Peele look like Matt Nagy? Kind of like he's just not wearing a visor.
This dude that's announcing
a little bit
taking too long.
He just looks like a little bit more of a tan Matt Nagy. Crack him to Kyler Gordon, dude. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
Our second round pick, dude. We're gonna attack like we didn't have a first round pick. And 2 years ago, was it? We got Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Kmet, 1,000-yard year this year.
Both second rounders.
Pull the tapes up and come back to this take in 9 months.
Hopefully he does less than 200 catches.
You see how fat my hands are? 5 tutties, baby. Look at these little Super Bowl corn dog fingers, baby.
We just need him to get one. Can Cole Kmet get one tutty?
I just want him to get more than like 6 yards a catch.
I'm sorry. I'm a fucking asshole. I like Cole Kmet.
So do I. I hope he does well, but like, I don't know, man.
Fans are the worst, though. Look at these creatures.
Who?
The Vikings fans.
Oh yeah, they're horrible, dude.
Dude, so who's going to nickel? Is it Gordon or Graham?
Graham.
I like Graham. Dude, I love when
Graham's
they brought
going
Graham
nickel?
up. Yeah.
I would personally. Like, I don't know.
I think Gordon might be more capable of like. I think they're both capable. I think Gordon might be more natural in it.
Yeah.
Like it could be Gordon outside, and then he bumps into nickel during nickel, and Graham stays outside maybe.
Dude, just the way
it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Routes though, and the way the NFL has incorporated those quick passing routes where you get the ball out in like under 2 seconds almost every time. Those little drag routes, those little slant routes. I like his aggressiveness too. Like he's handsy. Yeah. He's definitely a physical corner. I really like the pick, and I'm just so glad that they didn't fuck it up. Because if you saw Scott from Iowa was tweeting at us before the draft, he's just like, I'm ready to get up for the letdown. And we didn't. I mean, all right. I don't think
God's cool as hell, man.
I think it's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 of a pick. Like we'll find out when he gets on the field, but on paper the pick looks good to me.
There were a few different ways they could have absolutely screwed this up, and I think this is not a screw up pick. Like he's got a safe floor, I think, even as a special teamer, like a really good special teamer.
We called that. We're 1 for 1 in our last picks on the NFL draft.
That's all that matters. The winning streaks.
Now we're on to the next one. Who is up? The Giants.
So
Giants are going to get a Kobe Dean right here. Oh my god.
The Colts, the only corner they ever really invested in with Eberflus there was Kenny Moore at nickel. So that makes me wonder if he's definitely going to be playing nickel. Because nickel's super important to what Eberflus wants to do.
Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was just jumping in to hang out with you guys and take a
a
little breather from you.
So Joey, you didn't hear this because you weren't in the pre-draft party because you just popped up and you were like, "Hey, Joey,
I know, right?
The ricotta, the mozzarella, the provolone,
the cheese man."
You ready for the Bdon of the show?
Let's hear it.
Ron Tab Sportsnet. Because I don't know if you saw Ron's setup for this. Ron's got 2 computers cooking, a mic, probably like
it's beautiful.
The like thickest, most high percentage IPA like in the history of mankind.
What are you drinking, Ron?
What's in the cup, Ron? Show us what's in the cup.
What's up?
What's in the cup?
What's in the box?
Water. No, Ron.
Water.
No, we're.
This was
a huge IPA.
Okay, Ron's still doing the drinking. That's what I thought. He's drinking whiskey on the rocks, dude.
You get a water
for that first thing.
A refill.
A water per drink is how you stay like.
The Giants win receiver Juandale Robinson from Kentucky.
Woo! The guy replaced their first-round pick from last year.
Oh my God! Yeah, let's talk about that.
They got Wandale.
Kadarius.
Yeah, they got Wandale Robinson to the Giants.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got to replace Kadarius.
I mean, do you think there's a real market for Kadarius Toney of like actually interested teams?
No, he just doesn't want to play there. And I don't think Brian Dable wants him, evidently.
I mean, would you want to play football for the New York Football Giants?
I'd play football for any team that paid me except for Green Bay.
Correct. You are correct. We are
fully agreed.
Dude, I'll run down a couple kickoffs.
That's honestly a lie because Green Bay I'd probably still play because I think they make like 800,000 a year. So like,
I'm a piece of shit, dude. I'll play for them if it's they pay me.
I might be paralyzed by the end of the year. By the end of the first quarter of week 1, but
I know that I'm not going to the Hall of Fame, so I would just actively try to throw Packers games if I played there.
There you go.
That's the attitude.
I would be a double agent. You
got to be like decent enough to latch on somewhere else. Though.
No, decent enough to run down on a couple kickoffs with Vince Papale, whose son's playing in the USFL.
Oh, Vince Papale.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Invincible.
Bdon, I need to see you run down on a kickoff.
I'll drop my highlight tape in the Slack. It's not great, but there's definitely
are you fast?
There's definitely Chief Keef playing in the background. I used to play safety. I played safety in
just asking. I've never seen you run.
No, I'm not fast anymore, and I'm at the age where I don't actually have to run unless you tell me I have to. Like if I walked out of this room right now, you hear me?
Oh boy, we got a trade.
We got another trade.
Yeah,
Texans just traded up to take the Browns pick.
Oh my God. They're getting Raymond because he's 32. But, Joey, you'll respect this. We're all at that age where, like, if we just woke up today and said that I don't ever want to run again, we don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't have the pacer. We don't
unless someone's chasing you with a gun.
Yeah, unless someone's chasing you with a gun or unless you do bad
I had
shit.
to run from a dog when I was delivering pizzas. Like
I got bit by a dog. I got bit by a dog when I was a kid.
Bro, that thing had rabies, too. He was dripping from the mouth. I had to get out of there fast.
So Cleveland kind of had to make this trade. Because they need so much.
Dude, they're all right.
They need like everything.
Right here.
And they don't have that many picks because they gave them all to Deshaun Watson so they could pay him a fully guaranteed $1 billion deal.
The article up. Peebo's is a legend.
You already got one up? Damn.
Peebo's put it on the board.
On it.
What a stud.
Dude, we're slowly approaching the Bears pick.
You said there was a trade, though?
Yeah, Texans traded up.
Dude, it says who did literally everything on my screen.
Who did the Texans take last pick?
Jalen Petrie was their last pick.
Wow, Wandale is Oprah Winfrey's nephew, apparently.
Incredible.
Definitely not made up fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
So you got some NFL style comps to Jamison Crowder, Jets legend, fantasy football legend, DFS legend, prop bet legend, Khalif Raymond, and Tajay Sharp. I don't hate that. A couple of the weaknesses.
He's a hard player. He's a hard player to comp, honestly, because there's not a lot of players like Wandale, and that could be good, that could be bad. We'll find out. You know, he's tiny. His arms are very, very short. He's not going to win a lot of contested catches,
Not
but
a warrior.
He's got oily hips, man. This dude just shakes
Just
all up and down the
in
football
and out of
field.
his breaks. Yeah, he's in and out of his breaks like nobody's business.
You
Yeah,
described
he's
that
just
like it was a
loose.
Jiffy Lube or something.
Bro,
Yeah,
I'm honestly surprised though, because I think
I've been brushing up on the scouting terms just for this.
he seems like a gadget player. So there you go. You got gadgets in the shop.
Can we quickly appreciate Lovie Smith's beard? That's on the
draft. Oh, dude, it's beautiful.
Lovie's beard.
Beautiful. He looks like Santa Claus. It's incredible.
It's amazing. That's all I wanted to drop in.
I wanted his beard back on the sideline. I know that was super homer.
I would. How much money would you all pay to hear Lovie Smith say Jiminy Cricket?
Oh my goodness.
endless amounts. Literally endless amounts of money.
Fucking stupid. That'd be hilarious.
Well, because it was like there was a story from Lance Briggs, I think, at Bears camp of like Lovie never cussed, but one time we got him real angry, and he shouted out at Jiminy Cricket.
Bro, that's like Phillip Rivers. Have you ever seen Phillip Rivers mic'd up and he's like, "Doggone it."
Dude, I want to see Phillip Rivers like with all his 20 kids just in chaos at how he's reacting.
House, yeah.
No wonder the guy can handle pressure, like
because he's like super.
Has 20 kids.
Yeah, because they don't do birth control. I'm pretty sure in his house.
Right, so if
you
y'all don't mind, I want to talk a little bit about this pick. The Texans just took John Mechie III, who's one of the most interesting players in this draft.
He is
flat out like. Youngest or one of 5 boys. I think he was on the young end of that. He was born in Taiwan. His mother's Taiwanese. His father's Nigerian. Right after he was born, they moved to Ghana in Africa. And then at 6 years old, they moved to Canada in Ontario.
Incredible.
He didn't start playing football till middle school, which is late for these guys. Most of these guys started like at the lowest of the low levels. He didn't start till middle school. And then when he was 14 years old, he left his family in Canada to move to the U.S. to pursue football, like against better competition. During the pandemic, he actually didn't see his family for 2 years because they were up in Canada and he couldn't see them.
That's
like this guy's story is just incredible. I had to share it. I love this player. If he didn't have the torn ACL, he'd be gone by before now.
And Quintin,
agreed.
As I pull up that profile and you guys continue to discuss, I would like to bring somebody into the fold here to talk with you guys here. So,
oh yeah,
how's it going?
Welcome.
How you doing, Michael?
What's up?
Doing all right. Just slowly coping with the Cole Strange pick for the Patriots. Little by little, just trying to convince me that he's a Hall of Fame talent.
Hey man,
just
you called it. You called it on my show. You said Cole Strange was going in the first round, and we said no. This guy's crazy.
Wow, it's a great call.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to the Seahawks. I thought he had all the makings of the Seahawks. Off the wall type selection. Yeah. Thought they were going to trade back. Pick one of him or Juergens. I guess it bit me in the ass.
Good old beef jerky.
I must have leaked it, and then they called in a favor to Bill so that they'd get some revenge on me or something. But Cole Strange is the pick. Decent athleticism, so hopefully there's some upside there. But
I definitely think
not
there's
super
upside,
thrilled right now.
But maybe not first round upside. So, what do you think of John Mechie?
John Mechie's one of those guys that I think he compares a lot to Nate Burleson, one of those guys that maybe isn't ever going to be your best wide receiver, but he's a physical guy, really great run blocker. I loved his 2020 run blocking. Thought that he did a nice job in the slot for Alabama. Didn't get a lot of yards per catch, but was still, the go-to option for Bryce Young all season when they were trying to throw the ball. And, that speaks volumes whenever you're the guy getting the majority of the touches in the passing game for Alabama. I know it's helmet scouting and it's a little bit of a novice concept, but when it's a team that's as talented as that one, John Mechie's your go-to guy. I think that speaks volumes. And when you're looking at a team like the Houston Texans where you need dependable pieces to kind of build this thing back up, not necessarily finding a superstar with every selection, but you need those small pieces that can kind of build you back up to prominence or at least just back up to where you can compete for a playoff spot and stuff like that, especially with a young quarterback like Davis Mills. The pick actually, makes a lot of sense.
So helmet scouting, I've never heard that term before. I can kind of infer what it is, but can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's pretty much every time that you're talking about, CJ Stroud next year, we're going to hear, never trust the Ohio State quarterback. You know, you can't judge it off what jersey they wear, where they're coming from, because every prospect's different. CJ Stroud isn't the same.
They won't be saying that next year after seeing Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Justin Fields is an absolute stud. You know, assuming that the Bears get some help for him, I really like what he can do this season. But it's what we heard about Justin Fields because Dwayne Haskins didn't work out. Like, I mean, it's just something where, you know, you can't act like a guy is just the exact same carbon copy because Dwayne Haskins was like a pocket passer. Justin Fields was like a mobile quarterback. Both entirely different prospects, but because they wore the Ohio State jersey, everyone's like, oh, you can't trust them. Look at JT Barrett. Look at Dwayne Haskins.
Craig Krenzel.
Yeah, it's
former Bears legend.
Yeah, it's a ridiculously novice concept that a lot of people who don't really follow the draft that heavily just resort to. You know, the USC quarterback because Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez, all those guys. It's just something that very commonly happens. And I love that pick for the Ravens, by the way. They were teammates in high school, David Ojabo and Odafe Owe.
To your point, too, about that.
That went earlier.
Oh, my
David
God.
Ojabo
The Ravens are the best team at drafting, bro. They got
Dude,
Hamilton, Ojabo.
The Ravens just stay winning always.
They always win the draft. Always win the draft.
So I wanted the Bears to take Ojabo. I'm happy with Kyler Gordon, but, like, I wanted Ojabo, man.
Yeah, so this year with some of my draft buddies, I recently started this project where it's called shadow drafting. I don't know if you guys do it at all, but you pretty much start with a blank roster and you draft like this year to start out, so we aren't like waiting 7 years for it. We're doing 3 picks for each round, and to start the second round, I picked David Ojabo and Kyler Gordon. So if it makes you feel a little bit better, you know, I still like Kyler Gordon a lot, but I do think Ojabo has a lot of potential to become very promising in the NFL. And with the Ravens working next to Odafe Owe, that's scary.
Yeah.
So you took them with basically the second pick of the second round, though, for Kyler Gordon.
Yeah, it was a situation where, so for this year we're doing the opportunity to pick with the first pick, the 17th pick, and then the 32nd, and then you get like the first 17, 32nd for the other rounds going forward. So I had the 2 picks back to back right there at the end of the first, and I picked Gordon and Ojabo. Both guys, I think, pretty safe players, pretty consistent, versatile enough to where I feel like they can kind of fit whatever roster. So, we'll see how I compare to other GMs and teams around the league in like 5 years or something.
Well, I think too with Ojabo.
So that's the long game.
Yeah.
With Ojabo, it's a first-round talent that just got hurt.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's like you knew someone. It's kind of me, the Notre Dame fan in me, looks back to Jalen Smith, and it didn't pan out in his NFL career. But at the time of the pick, the Cowboys were like, "Yo, we're getting Jalen Smith in the second round. It's going to work out." Ojabo, like I said, I don't know if I said it when we were pre-stream or during the stream when we were talking about the picks, but he's a habit creator. He creates turnovers. He's constantly in the backfield. He blows up the run plays. And I think, too, like, he's a big game player, and that counts for something in the NFL because a lot of times during the big game, you need that from your pass rusher, especially, too, in a game that you can't afford to blitz linebackers or blitz cornerbacks or safeties. You need to have that ability to have that 4-man rush to get after the quarterback.
So the Lions just took Josh Paschall at 46, which is that's a surprise. What do you think of that, Mike?
I saw him reacting to something. I was like, my mic kind of started going in and out. And I was like, it's my shitbox Wi-Fi or something I said.
Yeah.
No, it's this pick.
I'm shaking my head at the pick, and it's not necessarily for Josh Paschall. I think he's fine. He's a nice hybrid defender, kind of one of those guys you can rotate around the defensive line. Makes a lot of sense for Detroit with that New Orleans background. Not going to be a Cameron Jordan, but that type of body type where he can kind of offer that versatility to move around the defensive line. But I can't believe what's happening to this quarterback class. I mean, I don't think that all these guys are worthy of slipping.
I'm forgetting that Malik Willis is still here.
Yeah,
because I'm just like every 5 picks, I'm like, wait, he's still there. What do we not know about Malik Willis that we're missing? Like, I was going on rants about this all night last night of like, what am I missing?
I think he came up he moved up boards after the season, like very much so. I think, and I don't think during the college season, I wasn't looking at him as like the top quarterback in this class. And I know you guys know who I actually think talent-wise is, but I'm not getting into that again. But I just really think I don't know what it is with Malik Willis. Like he's got the upside because he can run and
yeah,
all that.
He's got all the traits that have been the thing you draft based. Like I mean,
you're right.
Look at Mahomes. You look at Josh Allen. Like they were traits guys who had needed development.
I am gonna have to reel us in here though, real quick, because I don't think the Commanders are gonna take Malik Willis. We are somehow already back on the clock. So well, the pick is in for the Commanders. I'm probably 3 business days behind your guys' broadcast, but so the pick is probably actually in. But I mean, we probably got like 5-10 minutes, so let's go back around the room. Who's on the big board still? They're going offense. This has to be it's going to be Sky Moore. It's going to be Sky Moore or Pickens, bro. It's going to be one of the two. I already know.
I don't know. Michael, what do you think? What's Washington going to do here?
For Washington here, I'm expecting a linebacker. It sounds like they want someone a little bit more sturdy right next to Jamin Davis, whether that's going with a guy like Nakobe Dean, who's, maybe a little bit more polished, but still has the size. With a guy like Jamin Davis, you have the size, so you're kind of okay taking a smaller guy. I could see safety still being in play. I think trying to look on here real quick, just to pull up some guys.
Juwan Brisker's still
yeah, Brisker's a guy. I think he's a lot.
Yeah, so on the we got a big board right here on the stream as well.
Gotcha.
It's my big board, but like
small
oh, okay.
Yeah, my computer webcam, I don't know, it like glitches in and out like every second.
So I'll read it off to you. So at the top it's Nakobe Dean, we got Malik Willis, then Ritter, Travis Jones, Corral, Brisker, McBride, Bernard Raymond, the senior citizen, Chad Muma, Sky Moore, and then Christian Harris.
Gotcha. So yeah, Brisker makes a lot of sense. Nick Cross right in the area, another very athletic safety that I think could very much be in play. Linebackers been a position they've been linked to, even with Jamin Davis last year. Sounds like they need one more guy. Nakobe Dean could probably fill into that Landon Collins role really well. And then I think there's just still a possibility that they look at just adding to the not wide receiver room necessarily, but just adding to the offense, trying to get some more dependable pieces because, I mean, there's some question marks about everywhere.
Yeah, like a Trey McBride or –
I don't think they go quarterback, but, man, I've said since February, I think Sam Howell's a great fit for the Commanders.
Yeah. Why is that?
I think whenever you're looking at just the offense that they run, they work on just, like, continuous wins over the middle of the field. I think he has – some of the best, like, just placement when throwing over the middle. I think he's perfectly mobile. That fits what they want to do with Rivera, just the offense that he's kind of always had. And I think whenever you're talking about just the skill set of the guys they have, De'Ami Brown, obviously the college connection, Terry McLaurin, one of the more well-rounded wide receivers that can win over the middle of the field. I think Sam Howell was completely, like, left for the Wolves at North Carolina. That
absolutely, bro. He had the worst offensive line in the whole fucking nation.
Outside of like Joshua Azuto, like there was no talent on that offensive line. And Sam Howell like showed a lot of progression in terms of traits, but he didn't get to turn up that production. And I don't know. I just feel like the NFL is really missing the mark with this quarterback class. I know that it's not as good as some of the other classes because there's no certified top guy that really is just this like safe bet. There's no Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, whatever. But I do think that all these guys falling to the second round is completely misevaluated by the NFL. Yeah. Some of these guys are going to make them pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get some serious chips on guys' shoulders after. I mean, I can't believe they're still here in the second round. Like,
dude, I mean, we're already like halfway through the second round. Too.
I know. It's flying through.
Like, to be honest, there might not be – like, we might just see Willis go in this round and then Ritter slides to the third. And you know what would be cruel because sports are cruel and they just always do this to you? Watch Ritter go before Willis. For some reason, watch him go before Willis. I don't know why I say that, but that's just how the draft works.
He's the more if it's a team that's like they want a pro-ready guy who can start now, like they might make that decision.
Played on more of a winning team too that could like I don't know if they actually care about that, but
they're just not threes guys.
As much evaluation as we made, we should have just known it was going to be an Alabama guy for Washington.
Oh my god.
Yep. You saw it.
An Alabama defensive line. Way to buck the trend, Washington.
Yeah. All right, we're back on the clock, boys. All right. Let's go through the room. Joey will
that's actually
go through it.
Yeah, let's at least get the Bears picks off.
The Bears might have gone after Fidarian Mathis if they
I
were
think,
willing to go defense. He would have been a good fit.
Hey, I like 2 picks here. Well, the one that scares me now that he's dropped this far is Nakobe Dean. That actually scares me because he's dropping so far. I would like him here, or I would like Jaquan Brisker. I think Brisker makes a lot of sense. We still need a safety alongside Eddie Jackson. I think he would be a nice compliment. I really like Brisker a lot at this spot. Or trade back. Like, can they please trade back?
Here. Yeah, they could trade back here.
I really hope they trade back here because they need more picks.
We're officially on the clock.
They're running that clock all the way down.
This feels like a situation where the Bears are trying to trade back. I had a hunch that Poles was going to want to do this entering the draft. I didn't think it made sense for the Bears to stay here, especially if guys that they wanted aren't there. And especially, and they only have 6 picks total in the entire draft. Why not try and recoup some of that draft capital? You move back 5 to 10 spots, you might be able to get 2 picks in this draft, even if they're, 4th and 5th round selections, which, I think for Poles, especially with his time in Kansas City, like they've hit big on some of their late round picks. And that's why they've been so good for so long. So, my pick, and the pick is in. So apparently they didn't trade back. So
rapid fire, Ron, your pick.
Boy.
I hope it's Nakobe Dean.
Michael, pick.
I'm going with Raymond. I feel like you got to get protection for Justin Fields.
Okay. I don't hate it aside from the fact that 42.
Raymond's scared. I hate his age. I just wish he was younger.
Yeah, I don't know his age either, but he is pretty new to football. If that helps, like he's
it's definitely like it's a unique situation. It's not a guy who's just old. It was beating up on younger competition because he could.
I'm going to say it's Brisker, though. That's my guess.
Man, I think it's Brisker. Like, I have a hard time thinking that this front office is going to go out of their way to draft anything that's not close to the best player on their board.
Agreed.
You guys are in a stream with an action guy, Sky Moore.
Oh, hey, I think
I want it to be Sky Moore, but I think it's going to be Sky Moore because he's not a shitbag like George Pickens is.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Good player, good guy. He matches both of my boxes.
Well, it's going to be George Pickens now, and this is going to make a great clip.
Oh, those are on your personal check boxes? Those are on your
no. I mean, you remember, like, whenever we fade Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo. Good player, bad guy.
Just fade him. Just got to fade
Brisker.
Is it?
Jaquan Brisker.
Oh,
is it?
That's just got nasty, baby.
Let's go, baby. I love it.
Such a Chicago Bears draft. 2 defensive draft picks.
Bears fans are marching to Soldier Field to tear it down right now.
Because they fucking don't get it, man. Why don't they just offense? We got to get it. We got to get a receiver. I love
You've got to nail some late O-line picks if you're going to use 71 on like an Alec Pierce or like
Kevin Austin.
This goes back to what we talked
71 on Kevin Austin.
I think he's very good. I think he's very good at identifying those pieces, pulls. I mean, maybe I'm putting a little too much faith in him because we haven't seen him as a GM yet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we know he played the position. He's very good at identifying what it takes to be good at it, I think, and, like, having that knowledge. Man. So
you don't,
Michael,
mind me
he can do it. I think he can do it.
Not only did Poles play the position, so did his assistant GM, Ian Cunningham. And if you look at that Kansas City Chiefs offensive line from last season, Trey Smith started every game and was a 6th round selection.
And the other one they drafted, too. I can't think of his
Creed
name.
Humphrey.
Creed Humphrey, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great pick.
I do want to
say
they got lucky with Trey Smith. He shouldn't have been there in the 6th. That was ridiculous by the NFL.
I don't know how he was, to be honest. Yeah.
Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Jaquan Brisker, and then we'll let you get on with your evening.
Yeah, so, I mean, when it comes to Jaquan Brisker, like I said, I compare him to Marcus May, a guy that came out of Florida, wasn't really expected to be a free safety type, a lot of physicality, great run defense, but he had great processing ability that kind of made up for the lack of range and athleticism per se, but he was able to kind of thrive, become this very nice free safety for the Jets, working opposite of Jamal Adams. He's now with the New Orleans Saints. I think for Jaquan Brisker, he can probably fit into that strong safety spot, but I know there's been questions on Eddie Jackson for the long term. Didn't have the greatest year last year. If Jaquan Brisker continues to play like we saw at Penn State, I think he's someone that can really be a safe selection to be one of the safety spots long term. And I think that's a promising selection here when you're really just kind of looking to rebuild the rest of this roster for the Bears. And I think a guy like Brisker, he offers a very high floor to at least be a solid contributing starter at either safety spot.
Okay. I mean, I generally agree. I think so. You're saying you think he could be a guy who could be kind of, because they want interchangeable safeties in this scheme, is my understanding. Guys who can do both.
I think
and you think that he can kind of fit that role. So that I think that that's something that'll really help Eddie back there, is having a guy who can. I mean, you put on the Bears tape from the last 2 years and you watch some of Tashawn Gibson's coverage busts, and it's just like you're shaking your head, and it's like Eddie might be the guy who's coming up and trying to make the tackle after it, and he gets the blame because of it. But when you break down the coverage and you see the quarters that they were running, it's like that was Gibson.
Yeah, they need some help back there, and I think Brisker's a nice pick to get in there. I personally had him, I think, as my strong safety 3. Let me pull it up real quick, but yeah, he's someone that I think is just a dependable piece, and I think for a team like the Bears, where you've had your issues of just trying to get guys on the field, get guys that are consistently contributing, getting a guy like Brisker, can't really feel like you did anything wrong there, because I think he's going to be a pretty solid level contributor at the very least.
Good stuff. Michael, why don't you tell the people where they can find you and your stuff?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at @MR_NFL Draft. I do content on YouTube as well. Quick 2-minute scouting reports on players, especially Jaquan Brisker, so you can check him out.
You've blown up 1,000 subscribers in 6 months,
and we have Kyler Gordon. So any Bears fans out there, feel free to check it out, and I'm sure you'll be happy with the reports. We're trying our best. We are definitely seeing a little bit of a bump from this draft, but we're at 1,300 right now, feeling pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 2-minute drill on YouTube or @MR_NFL Draft on Twitter. I'm always down to converse, collaborate, whatever it is. I really look forward to it, and yeah, thank you guys for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good one.
Later, man. Thanks.
Hey, Bdon, you want to tell the people about some of the fun fact about Jaquan Brisker?
So the fun, definitely not made up fun fact. He has stolen all of the forks and knives from the dorm cafeteria on multiple occasions, forcing his peers to eat with only spoons. And as someone who just graduated from college and who would frequent, I mean, I didn't never live in the dorms because I'm 32 years old. But between classes, I'd go fuck around in the dining hall. And let me tell you, they got never-ending chicken tenders. So that's
steal all the forks and knives.
You pay $8 for never-ending chicken tenders with all the different sauces, and you're already good. But yeah, it's how you would imagine it. It's Boy Scout camp. It's the high school cafeteria. If any of our listeners have ever been to jail, it's the jail cafeteria. It's not great. And if you lose out on all the forks and knives, you're going to be eating with a spoon and potentially a spork. That's not something I like from Brisker. But everything on the field, I'm all the way there.
See, I love a guy, though, that is willing to play jokes and pranks on people, because that's a good locker room guy.
Yeah, a glue guy. He's Mr. Elmer.
You always need a glue guy.
Forcing people to problem solve.
All the silverware from everybody. You need a glue guy.
He's not a problem guy. He's a solution guy. And with the spoons, you have your solution. Now, if you got something that you need to cut up, that's on you, bro. You need a pocket knife or something.
So, I will say, I like both these players a lot, but I'm worried about what the Bears are going to do.
Who's Justin Fields throwing to?
Wait. Why, Quintin? You're worried just about the offense? Basically.
Yeah, I'm worried about where they're going to fill out this roster from, because they couldn't trade down. I mean, I'm sure they were trying like hell. Yeah. I don't think anyone's moving up.
Maybe
people
I don't know
moving up except for 2, and they were for defensive players. So
Sam Howell.
That tells you a lot about the quarterback class, though, because I think teams would want to move up for quarterback at this spot. I feel like.
Have you guys noticed that on the draft broadcast? Can you read body language? How I can read body language?
I cannot.
It depends, but
I'm body language illiterate.
I don't know if I'm correct on this, but it looked like Sam Howell is pretty bricked up, and he might go to the Saints right here. But I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. They got Cam Jordan out there calling the pick.
You were wrong.
I am wrong.
Wow.
It's in our ticker if you would like to see
Alante Taylor.
Cold takes exposed immediately.
Oh my
Ron,
God.
can you throw him up on the screen? Because I believe
Absolutely.
this is quite a reach.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great pick either.
Who did they take? Sorry.
Alante Taylor, safety out of Tennessee. I think he played some corner as well.
Yeah, he played corner too.
He's a big old dude. Yeah, I mean his average big board rank was 103. Like, I mean, they just took him at half of what all the draft analysts thought he would go at. His best big board rank was 76. So like,
had a really interesting draft so far. Like,
just remember when you look at the Saints draft that this is where Ryan Pace learned to draft. Just remember that when you think about it. When you think about them trading up for a wide receiver and then getting an offensive tackle when they don't have a quarterback, and then taking a player who's ranked 76 is his best rank at 49.
Yeah, I don't like this pick at all for them. I didn't like the Penning pick either at all.
See, I think Penning's very fitting for them, but
this is the same team that had a guy go up on the hit stick against Stephon Diggs in like the biggest moment in recent franchise history.
Yeah,
so they're not
that's
great.
why I think Trevor Penning's fitting for them.
Dude, yeah. I mean, he went there, didn't he?
He just wants to murder people. He just wants to murder people. He's all about bounties.
And as many picks that we were wrong on our mock draft, that's one that we were right on. And we switched that the night before.
Nice.
So, because we had him originally going to the Chargers. And
yeah.
I mean,
you just got the slot wrong then,
for
right?
those of you that never made a mock draft, if you miss one, you're usually going to get the second pairing of that. So you usually like one wrong is usually good for two. We got that one right.
So a little bit on Taylor, big, long safety, cornerback safety. He played a little both. I bet you he's a safety at the NFL just because he's not super explosive, extremely fast, very smooth mover. Kind of almost like an Eddie Jackson body type where he's long, he's fast, but he's not explosive.
The Chiefs traded up.
He's actually pretty solid in press coverage and can really get his hands in on the wide receiver. But he doesn't like to play with urgency and he doesn't like to tackle.
A safety that doesn't like to tackle, and you just drafted him in the middle of the second
round.
Well,
a cornerback safety. Honestly, as I'm reading this and thinking it through and seeing his body type, it sounds a lot like Eddie Jackson.
Oh my God!
Long, smooth mover with speed. Doesn't like to play the run or like come down on tackles, but he can bump up and play cornerback, and he's good in press coverage. Like, it sounds like Eddie Jackson to me to a degree. I mean, I don't recall what his playmaking was like in college because that's a huge differentiator because Jackson made ridiculous amounts of plays at Alabama. But it's an interesting pick for the Saints. And he's wrestled with 7 different breeds of pigs in his life. So
he's a hog man.
Yeah.
Dude, how often I feel like, and I could be completely wrong about this and not to cut you off about who you're talking about right here.
Oh, you're good.
How often do the Pats even trade up? Like they just traded up and I don't remember them.
The Pats, I feel like the Pats move back and forward probably more than any team in the NFL. They are constantly moving backwards.
They're drafting
Alec
Pierce.
It's usually not in the first round.
Just remember the backwards for some reason. I don't know.
So it's usually in the mid like 3rd to 7th round where they're moving forward more. But like they moved up this time.
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested who they're
Alec Pierce, right?
Looking at here.
But like also you think about they moved back in the first round. So they had extra picks to work with. Like they always make sure they're coming out net positive on picks, basically. Because they're not that good at drafting.
No.
So like they take a ton of swings. I mean, honestly, you look at Baltimore's hit rate over the years, it's really not very impressive. But they've had so many swings, it doesn't matter. You know? Like if your hit rate's 30, if your hit rate's 25%,
you always walk out of the draft
30% with like 15 picks. You're a lot better with the
walk out of the draft from the Ravens. You think the Ravens won the draft when they leave, and then it comes to like later on down
Wait
the
a
road, you're
second.
like, whoa, they didn't hit as many as
Wait a
these picks that
second.
we thought that it always feels like that with the Ravens and then possibly the Pats too. Like, but you said, like they get a ton of picks, but
What if Belichick gets Nakobe Dean right here?
that's what I'm thinking. Like, who's the? I don't know. I don't know who he's after here.
And just going back quickly while you guys are mulling this over, what the Patriots are going to do. But like you said, I mean, the guy that hits leadoff for number 2 on a baseball team is just going to get more at bats. Naturally, he's probably going to get more hits. It's just, but it's a good strategy, right? Like you got to take your.
I think it's the right strategy.
Yeah, and if you can move around and it allows you to accumulate more draft capital, why not do it? I think that's what Poles wanted to do with that 48.
And
pick,
I mean,
but, they settled, they get Brisker, and ultimately, I think it's a good decision. So just wanted to chime in.
Yeah,
it's a great point.
To save the Ravens, they drafted Kyle Hamilton. So in my book, they could do no wrong. I'm curious, man. Who the hell are the Patriots?
You're such a Notre Dame homer, and I can't.
No, dude.
Notre Dame
State week 1.
Notre Dame is going to put out some dudes on the O-line next year in the draft.
They do all the time.
Some hogs. Not this year, man. Everyone's returning.
Keep an eye out on Blake Fisher, bro. Blake Fisher.
I'll have to
come back to that.
I'll have to talk to Chris White again next year. That'll do some numbers.
Bruh. All right, Patriots pick is in. Who they got on? Lawrence Guy. Oh, he's on the team.
He's just a guy.
He's just the guys being dudes. Is that guy in a Cam Newton jersey? You are calling out the pick in the draft, and you wore a Cam Newton jersey. I respect that.
Dude, I am probably Bdon. I'm
a Cam Newton guy. I like Cam Newton. So
no.
If I ever announced the Bears pick, I'd wear my Rex Grossman jersey.
Oh, 100%.
I was going to talk about Notre Dame for a second.
Go crazy on Notre Dame. What's going on?
No, I didn't wear this shirt.
You talking about Arch Manning? You talking about?
That'd be legit, dude.
What is that his name?
Arch Manning.
His name is.
Yeah, Arch.
I think it is Arch. Yeah. But if they get, I think Kyle Hamilton, to me, like he was a top 3 player in this draft.
He's just a victim of his position, bro. It's not his fault.
They didn't value it as well. I mean, they didn't value it this year.
Who they got here?
The Patriots are just.
Who did they get?
I like this player in like the 5th round.
Oh my dude! What are they doing? What are they doing?
Can we get Tyquan Thornton's profile up so I can see where his average rank was?
Oh my
God! Is off his rocker.
I don't hate him in like the 3rd or the 4th round.
153 was his average rank.
They traded up for this dude that nobody was
best
probably going
rank
to take.
Is 87. They're a full round away from where the analyst who's the highest on.
But they won the Big 12, Quentin. They're champions. That's what they won.
Bro,
in New England.
Bill's
draft Baylor never wins. I'm a Texas Tech fan.
Insane.
I just shut it out.
His board is completely different. Like it is insane.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Hey, respect. I got respect. If he's right, like
such a
stay away from
Belichick
groupthink. So Thornton is a tall, long wide receiver. Fast, 4.28 40-yard dash. Not very agile, but very fast.
Just straight line, just like straight line speed.
He's got long arms. Straight line speed. He's not making cuts, and he doesn't have that Devin Hester speed where he can just turn a corner and boom, he's gone.
Before you make that next point, the Eagles are drafting George Pickens to add to wide receiver help. But keep going.
This guy instantly creates separation. I mean, honestly, his speed is kind of like, I want to say Deshaun Jackson because that's just what comes to mind, but that's probably not a fair comp. Robbie Anderson is one I have here that I think makes a lot of sense as an upside. Just has that real easy separation because of his speed, and he understands leverage through the route well. He understands how to balance his route against where the guy's body is positioned to be able to find the openings. Good footwork.
The Denzel Mims comp too, because that's another Baylor guy.
Well, that's a downside play. That's a downside comp. Because at Baylor, they don't run that many routes. That was one of Kevin White's issues too. He just didn't know routes and he didn't understand them and the whole concept of the field.
Runs a lot of very simple route trees.
Yeah,
it's a very normal.
A lot of air raid.
12. Yes. Well, and a lot of that.
Fucking get down.
And
there
a lot of
and
that too, because a lot of those teams like to play fast. And I know just college experience. This is actually somewhere where I can insert. When I played at St. Xavier, we used a lot of the concepts from Baylor. in both their passing game and their running game, because it really favors that high tempo, no huddle offense. And it allows you to kind of be that air raid style of team, like you said, which is very popular in the Big 12, right? Like, I feel like the Big 12 is the one conference that you're going to be able to pick out 5 or 6 different teams that run some iteration of an air raid offense. So,
Mike Leach effect.
Yeah, great point.
Mike Leach, the goat.
So, like, to what Ron was saying, like, you think about it, they're running up tempo, a lot of plays per game, per minute, per quarter, however you want to define it. And when you have a guy who runs a 4.28 like that, and your entire goal, or a big goal of yours, is tiring out the defense and getting them out of position, you don't have to do a lot as a receiver who runs a 4.28. You're just saying, okay, we're getting them in bad spots, and you're going, and you're going, and you're going. You don't need to build a release package that has all these variations, because you're constantly trying to catch the defense off guard. You're not winning off the line of scrimmage with your route and your footwork and your hands and whatever else it might be. You're winning with pure athleticism and just tempo. So it's something that doesn't work the same as well in the NFL. So he's going to need to learn some better release packages and learn how to deal with press coverage and guys, getting their hands on him off the line of scrimmage, which he has the speed to make him pay if he gets by him. But it's a question of how he deals with that. If he
doesn't get by him, he's cooked.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, the Patriots.
Hey, Bdon, real quick, hashtag crack 'em, by the way.
Oh yeah, you heard that. That was a nice one. But I think, like, if you look at the Patriots last year, they were an interesting team, right? They went on that win streak in the middle of the season. Mac Jones never really played great football. He played good enough football to win football games, and I think, like, surrounding him with playmaking receivers who have the speed that takes the top off the defense. You could see a couple of those deep balls that he was throwing to Devontae Smith and all those guys at Alabama the year before. But
he does throw a very pretty deep ball. I mean, he's not always going to get it out to the right spot, or he needs a clean pocket to do it, but he has great touch on that.
But I think, like, with a guy like Tyquan Thornton, it's almost like, fuck it, Tyquan's down there somewhere, just put it in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like
that speed.
He's actually probably pretty similar to Nelson Aguilar too, who they had on their roster. I forget if they still have him or not,
but they did have him. Yeah,
he's probably going to play a similar role there to what Aguilar has.
I feel like here's the thing that it's not even like against him as much as it is like, I feel like the way that you win drafts is also by understanding where players are going to be drafted. So, like, trading up, to me, for this pick, it just didn't make much sense. Maybe, their board is completely different and they value these guys at a little bit higher, like Cole Strange, all that. But, like, to me, it's like, why trade up and do that? We don't know how the other teams value him as far as that goes, like us on the bleachers just doing this. But it's like, you don't win drafts by trading up and doing that. Like, when you can stick and pick where you're at, or even
I love stick and pick, dude. Stick and pick is my favorite mentality about drafting, bro.
I just understanding everyone else's board.
The Eagles got the jerk, man.
The Eagles just made their pick. They got beef jerky. Cam Jurgens.
Oh man,
this man owns his own beef jerky company.
That's incredible.
He's an offensive lineman. He's a center, and he owns his own beef jerky company.
I don't know why he was.
He's going to be good.
Ron, where are you? Ron, come back, Ron, please. We have an offensive lineman who owns.
Get the beef in here. Get the beef.
That's just a good business move. That's just a good business.
Oh, they're showing it on the screen, dude. I gotta get some.
He's been shooting up draft boards the last week or two. Like, this is not a surprise that he went this early.
Wow.
Like, even though his average rank is 90 here, a week ago it was like 140. He's just been shooting. Everyone knew that this guy was moving up.
He was on the track and field team. I can see some shots.
Yeah. So he's a little light at only 303, but he's a center. So you can kind of get over that. He has some length issues, but again, he's a center. He's going to the Eagles, a zone-heavy team. They'll be able to deal with his length issues. He's going to be playing with Jason Kelsey, who has similar length and size issues.
And the perfect guy.
Great situation for him. Great situation for him. It's one of his comps here is Jason Kelsey. Very physical profile.
There
very
goes George Pickens. I hate to break in real quick.
No, where'd he go?
Steelers.
Juju? You can't write a better movie than that.
The team that is the king of being able to handle personalities.
Yo,
take
shout out my guy Chase. Shout out my guy
George
Chase.
Pickens.
Chase Claypool for the win with the pick to get his new teammate.
He ain't gonna get along with Kenny Pickett airmailing him. He's gonna throw some fits.
One back-to-back football state championships.
I think that's why they brought Mitch in to be the even keel guy.
Before we move on to George Pickens, Cam Jurgens, big Shaving Points podcast guy.
Oh yeah.
Award-winning listener.
But we'll give him all the awards he wants if he starts listening and comes on the show.
I mean, free beef
We're all
jerky for a
Shaving
lifetime.
Points podcast guys.
I mean, we love shaving the points when they shave in our way, but dude, Pickens to the Steelers, Mike Tomlin's going to get this kid right. I promise you that. If there's any coach in the NFL that can figure out his team and discipline them in the right way or get them the fuck out of town, it's Mike Tomlin. And we'll find out very quickly whether or not George Pickens is who he says he is in the NFL, being under Mike Tomlin.
Dude, I feel like also, too, the other pick that we just saw, the Jurgens pick, the Eagles are having a solid draft here. I like Jordan Davis, man, a lot.
Man.
What happened? Who just went? I didn't see it.
The Colts just took Alec Pierce.
Oh, fuck. I liked him more than I like Pickens just because of the issues with Pickens.
So do I. And just it honestly broke my heart when I found out that Alec Pierce is a Green Bay Packers fan, but
of course
I didn't care. He's a great fit for the Bears and what they need at the X receiver.
And there's a good chance, Quintin. I mean, you brought it up, right? Like the Bears took that clock all the way down when they picked their 48. Maybe they were trying to fall back right into this range here, get another pick, and go for a guy like Pierce. And then maybe in the third round, if you get another third or even another fourth, then you have an opportunity to address, the safety position or one of these other positions. Granted, I think we all agree that the Brisker pick isn't a bad pick. But you could definitely tell that Poles was trying to make something happen there. Otherwise, that clock wouldn't have wound down as much as it did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can talk a little bit on Alec Pierce. I got some notes here on him. So he had a growth spurt in his junior year, shot up 5 inches, I think during and after the football season. He really wasn't. It was kind of an afterthought before that. He was, fast and strong. But he wasn't big until then. Played at Glenbard West in Illinois. My alma mater, so I initially liked him for that. Very run-heavy offense that they run at Glenbard West. It's a double wing tee, all jet motion run-based. So he didn't get the chance to shine that much there until his senior year. He averaged I think his junior year, he averaged 40 yards a catch, something like that. But he only had 10 catches, 400 yards on 10 catches or something ridiculous like that. But so on only 10 catches, not many people were recruiting that heavily. It was mostly MAC and FCS offers that he had out of high school. He ended with 790 yards between his junior and his senior year. So a total of 35 catches. But a team who Glenbard West beat in the playoffs his senior year was bringing in that quarterback was going to Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati coach asked that quarterback, "Is there anyone I've overlooked or should go look at on the recruiting pass?" And that quarterback said, "That kid over at Glenbard West, you gotta go look at him." And that's how he got to Cincinnati. And he had to work his way up at Cincinnati. He had to play special teams. He wasn't a receiver when he first got there. He played a little tight end in high school and some wide receiver. He had a lot of development to do, and he did it. I mean, he's a good prospect. A little early for him there at 53, but
yeah.
I mean, I think it's still a good pick.
I don't hate it because honestly, I didn't see us in if he went to the Bears, I wouldn't have hated that either. I think you got a Midwest guy. Those local pro days probably came in handy in trying to figure out who Alec Pierce was and probably private workouts. But I mean, you bring in a new quarterback in Matt Ryan. You have good receivers. I mean, T.Y. Hilton. I'll always love him because I think he won me a fantasy championship 6 years ago, so I'll never forget that. But it's still somewhat productive in this league. Michael Pittman had a really good rookie season last year, and you add another receiver to that fold with the quarterback and Matt Ryan, where it's the Colts. This is why I'm Indiana is a shithole. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I wish I was a Colts fan because instead of a Bears fan, just based off of geographic location, because aside from like those 2 years where they were absolutely awful, they always empty the bucket trying to put out a respectable team for their fan base. Doesn't always work out, but I mean, I always respect what they do when it comes time to the draft and trading, because they're always down to do it. And it's like a guy like Alec Pierce, I like his athletic ability. I like, he's a hard-nosed guy. He's a lunch pail guy. On this podcast.
He had to work his way up from special teams
exactly.
at Cincinnati. I mean, that says it all to me. He had to play gunner. Like, he had to learn from the ground up. I love it.
Ron is coming in with the new pick. Who's the new guy?
Oh, we don't have a pick yet, but the Kansas City pick is in here at number 54.
Have they gone receiver yet? I don't.
That is a good question. I don't believe they have.
This guy, Sky Moore.
Sky Moore in the second round.
I was just say, and Quintin, you and Bdon said this in your guys' mock draft, giving good props for that as the second pick that Kansas City was going to take in the first round. But Sky Moore is kind of that like Tyreek Hill light replacement for them. That quick, shifty playmaker that they can get in space. Because they got some decent.
Do they still have Mecole Hardman there too, or no?
They do. They do. Yeah.
Or maybe they're
still there.
I forgot.
I know he's not as good as
Wandale went before Sky. That's a surprise.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that when that came in.
Yeah.
Well, dude, Sky
Moore,
Pierce, his over under today, because I looked online because I was making some wages before this, and it was 41.5, and we are.
I thought that was interesting,
and it was even on both sides, or as even as you'd call it, is minus 115 on both sides. But, dude, I mean, we talked about it in our mock. I know we weren't correct on the pick. I know the pick, we haven't given it to you yet, but I don't hate Sky Moore here. I saw him quite a few times being someone that covers NIU. Is it?
Nailed it.
Attaboy.
It is Sky Moore?
Sky Moore, nice.
Sky Moore.
Yeah, I don't hate this pick at all, man. He's shifty. He's fast. He can run the whole route tree. He was the number one receiver at Western Michigan.
Are we in a run on receivers for?
I think Mechie's going
receivers.
Mechie's going. Mechie didn't go yet, right?
Mechie did. Mechie already went. He went to the Texans.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, I love this pick, bro. I love it. I know it's not where we predicted in our mock, but we got the team right.
Dude, look at that hand size on Sky Moore. He's got some mitts, man.
Oh,
this dude's got 10 1/4-inch hands. He's small, but he's got huge hands. Runs a 4.40. Dude's just he's a joystick.
Please no NIU highlights.
He cuts on a dime.
Please no NIU. Please no NIU right here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Quintin. Didn't Tyreek Hill have the same body type, big hands but small body?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, they showed NIU second. That's my friend. Come on. That's not nice. That is not nice.
You knew it was coming too. You knew it was coming because
that's
you ripped
bullshit,
him up.
man.
We
already won the match by the time we played them, man. That game didn't matter.
If you guys want to talk receivers, I know there was that Calvin Austin was a guy at the Bears.
I like Calvin Austin to the Bears.
And I like Calvin Austin a lot.
Dude,
I like Calvin Austin a little later in the draft. Absolutely, he's got huge upside.
I'll tell you who I'll take at 71, right? 71 for the Bears. I would take David Bell.
Before you say who we're gonna pick, Ron, come back in real quick, please.
I just love.
We got.
Are we just locking in until 71?
We've also got another guest, folks. I don't think it's important that I be here.
Well, no, but I want to ask you because you're the man behind the scenes. Are we just locking in until 71? These draft picks are fire. Aeneas Williams is a legend.
Yeah, we might. We might just.
We might as well.
Can we just lock in? All right,
we'll just keep it rolling. I'm going to get out of here though. Quintin.
I actually might dip out too for a little bit. Come back.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, we got another guest joining.
All right,
welcome in, Jayden May. How you doing, Jay? Can you hear me? All right. Well, Jayden can't hear us evidently yet.
Jayden is here. Joey is here. Audio only.
What's going on, man?
Doing good. A lot of my guys are going.
I know.
Quick and in a hurry.
I know. It's killing me. So Trey McBride just went off the board to Arizona, by the way.
I like him a lot.
First tight end off the board.
Yep.
I thought Sky Moore might fall to us. I thought Jergens might fall to us.
Who is us for those that don't know?
I'm a
Cowboys
fan.
Oh my God, that would have been incredible for Dallas if they would have got Sky Moore.
Yeah, I really like Nakobe Dean here. I know he's got a pec issue. They just
big spot. Cowboys on the clock.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we're
Cowboys
on
the clock.
A live reaction from Jay. I like this.
Yeah.
Who they taking?
Yeah,
Jay?
give us your pick.
I like Nakobe Dean in the first round. I know he's got pec issues, so if we get Nakobe Dean here, and then it's basically we got Smith and Dean, which I would have been fine with getting them 1 and 2, one way or the other. So I'd be thrilled with Nakobe Dean here.
Yeah, that would be a solid pick for the boys. I feel like
he's got a pec issue, but I mean,
a pec issue.
Yeah, he tore his pec during the combine. They've been talking about.
I mean, I don't feel like that's something to make a guy slide though. It's not like something that's going to be aggravated. It's not a long-term injury.
Yeah, I really like Jergens. I really thought we might have a chance getting him here, but yeah, we'll see. I don't want to be shocked like I was last night.
Hey Quinn, lead with the fun fact. That's incredible.
Oh, Trey McBride's fun fact. So over the past 6 years, he's carried a Bop It without batteries everywhere he goes.
That's psycho.
Which I don't know what he does with it. He just hopes that someone has batteries, I guess. But
bonk him with it,
dude. These fun facts that are real, Quentin. I think the amount of research just you put into that is
so.
This
my research about half the research on them was our guest right here and his cousin.
Yeah,
it's incredible work.
Put a lot of work into that.
You guys.
A lot of inside sources they were talking to. All right, so we got to pick.
Sam Williams.
Who is it?
Sam Williams. I mean,
don't hate it.
He's talented. He would have gone a lot earlier than this if it wasn't for some of his off the field issues.
Yeah, I mean, Cowboys love off the field issues.
They do.
Jerry's gonna get that shit straightened out.
Yeah. Oh man. I finally got over the Tyler Smith pick. I've talked myself into him being a Hall of Famer now, so we're good there.
I mean, all right. So, but what do you think this says about Nakobe Dean, though? Like, you think it's really just the injury that's got him sliding this far?
It's got to be. I don't know. I didn't think there was any way we'd be able to get him there, and then he was there, and I thought that was going to be the pick. But last night, I thought for sure we wouldn't pass on Jermaine, and we passed on him. So who knows? Cowboys.
Yeah, because we had the kid from we just lost Q. We had the kid from Texas A&M, the O-lineman, but the Texans picked him before they. Yeah, we had him there.
Yeah, I loved Kenyon Green. I was disappointed when he went as early as he did, but I mean, this is back-to-back years where it seems like Cowboys are just taking who they like and not really caring about where they land on anybody's big board.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like such a Cowboys thing because, you think of the Cowboys like the brand is bigger than everything. Like they're a national brand, a international brand, and they're just gonna do whatever they want. They in Jerry's world, but we got a trade here. So the Bills traded out.
Historically, they draft well, so it gives me. I mean, as a fan, it doesn't hurt too bad when they don't take who you want because most of the time, as a fan, you're probably wrong.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know that as a fan. I'm a Bears fan, dude. Like, look at me, dude. I'm a fucking Bears fan. Like, I know your Super Bowls are a little behind you, but we only got one, and we hold on to that thing for your life, bro. Anytime
never let anyone forget about it.
You've been in an NFC Championship in your lifetime.
I actually, I have. I actually went to the Super Bowl that we lost, so I have a different type of pain with that. Fuck Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, all them, man. They killed me as like a 7th grader in the stands.
I've in my cognitive lifetime, I've never seen us get out of the divisional round. So
yeah, if it makes you feel better, I laid a large wager on them to take care of the Niners, and that did not happen. So
I also did. So
yeah.
I got.
Oh, okay. See, I feel better. I feel better that Jay has now too, because if it was just you, Bdon, I was totally going to blame you.
Yeah,
for all of that first round pain that just happened this past year. I just hope you're aware of that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who do we think the Bucks are going to go with here, boys? Because I mean, they're still a pretty complete team, but you saw a couple retirements over.
Every pick in the second round, I'm like, this is for sure Malik Willis.
Yeah, right. Like I don't hate Malik Willis here to back up Tom Brady.
It's just a reminder of yesterday when I said it. Every other pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, if you look behind Tampa, they got Atlanta right there, and that's something that we mocked in the first round. I almost bet on it, and I'm going to be mad as fuck if I didn't bet on it, and he ends up there in like the middle of the second round, just based off of me being a hype about it. But yeah,
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the whole project aspect behind it, like you keep Tom Brady for another year, then Malik Willis is ready to go. They were able to go get Tom Brady some help earlier this round, so I mean, maybe they do.
It's an interesting, because it says Todd's best available is Nakobe Dean, Malik Willis. Ron, can you pull up who we have as our best available?
Yeah, let's take a look at
I think
our
it's
big
the
board
exact
here.
same, maybe flip-flop. Because
It's got to be. I mean, Malik
because
Willis
Quinn is wearing his
top
Malik
20.
Willis jersey underneath the polo.
Like,
yeah, it's Nakobe Dean, Malik Willis. We have the exact same big board. So
I was thinking as a Bears fan, like, yeah, I know you didn't have a quarterback for him to sit behind, but Justin Fields could be very well great, but having Malik Willis sitting there for you in the second round after giving up a first to go get Justin Fields, it's like
the Kirk Cousins, Robert Griffin.
I had the thought.
It's like maybe Justin Fields is great, but like, would you rather have a first round pick and take Malik Willis in the second round this year?
All it takes is a Justin Fields injury and Malik Willis playing like 2 games for you to trade that thing for a first round pick.
Oh, you're talking about taking him anyway. I was talking about like if you would have had your first round pick this year and still get Malik Willis in the second round and not taking Justin Fields.
Yeah, I definitely would have thought about it because I thought about it either way. So
yeah. I still think Justin Fields is going to be great, though.
Oh, so do I. Like, that's nothing about Fields. Just I think the value of getting Willis. Like,
yeah, I mean, the more it goes on, the more valuable he becomes. Like, at this point, the Chiefs could draft him, and I would be like, makes sense.
Yeah, that's the breaking point where any team could take him. Luke Gadecki,
Central Michigan tackle. So he's going to play right tackle, I guess, or he's going to move to guard.
He went before Raymond, dude.
Guard. He's gonna be thrown down inside.
I mean, he has to. Yeah. He has to be only like 21 years old because
he's a lot younger than Raymond.
Speaking of Raymond, I forgot he was on the board.
Though, it's like a former tight end.
I forgot Raymond was on the board. I would have loved him at 56 for the Cowboys.
Wow.
Can we get a look at Luke Gadecki on here?
We got a nice little matching run right here. We talked about a receiver.
So he's 23. He's not young. I mean, he's not necessarily old, but
I would love to be 23 again.
Me too.
Good technique, filled out frame, but he lacks some size, lacks length, so he's definitely gonna be moving inside. He's a finisher though. Like he'll put you on your back.
Put him next to Tristan
just because he feels like it.
Put him next to Tristan Wirfs, and you got a freaking wall.
Yeah. Good with his hands, good at replacing his hands, replicating it, getting into new positions when he's been beaten. And he's got small hands, but he latches on with them. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're still latching on, fine. The hand size really isn't that big deal. That's the main thing I look at hand size for with offensive linemen to think about how good of a grip they're getting.
Here's Atlanta. Is this Malik Willis finally?
I will brawl.
They've passed on him. They've passed on him twice in the second.
And so, one more note about Luke Gadecki. His godfather is the lead singer for a Creed cover band.
That's very believable. That is extremely believable. But yeah, bro, they didn't have to show that 64-yard touchdown run against NIU again, and I state that was me. All right, who we got? Is this Malik Willis, man?
It's got to be.
58?
It very well could be Malik Willis. It feels like he can't slip farther than this, right? Like
Malik Willis is going to go undrafted. I'm convinced.
Oh it's going to be working at your local car dealership.
I think this is interesting.
Watch this be Matt Corral.
Speaking of quarterbacks here, though, right? Like, we are almost 60 picks into this draft. And one quarterback has come off the board. When is the last time that?
In 2022.
Yeah, probably like the 1930s when the draft wasn't even a thing and they just ran the ball.
I mean, the Geno Smith draft had more quarterbacks off the board by now.
Isn't that wild?
That draft was loaded with talent.
That was.
Yeah.
Dude, it's got to be Malik Willis.
I mean, no, it was not quarterback.
No, quarterback talent. Geno Smith is incredible.
That class was loaded everywhere else.
You see him ball out last year?
with the Seahawks.
Yeah. The Geno train was back.
I bet against him, unfortunately.
I, being the psychopath that I am, bet on him.
That I mean,
that's real sicko shit.
Troy
right?
Anderson, that's your boy.
My guy. They took
That's
my
your
guy.
boy.
I love Troy
Dude,
Anderson.
are we real? All right, are we real? How many more picks are in this round? We're really about to get to the third round of the draft with only
4 more picks.
No, we got
Minnesota might be like fuck Kirk Cousins.
Minnesota, Buffalo, San Francisco, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Denver.
Denver would be the only one. Dude, could you imagine if Denver just chilled for like 2 whole days and somehow still got their guy at quarterback?
Dude, so
they already got their guy at quarterback.
Drew Lock? Or
no,
Russell?
they have Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell.
Can I tell you all a little about Troy Anderson for a minute? Because this is like probably my favorite player in the draft. So,
Montana State football guy.
He's a great quarterback.
Athletic freak. This guy, like, you see all that green on the right side of the screen up and down? This guy is just an athletic freak. His hands are a little small. That's the only knock you can put on him athletically. He has a 10 relative athletic score. One of the most athletic guys to play linebacker and come out in the draft ever. So obviously prototypical size athlete. This guy played quarterback at Montana State in 2018 and was all conference. And then him and the coach said, "It's like, that's boring. Let's move him to linebacker."
Where he was all conference.
Where he's all conference.
Dude, he was just born to play football.
Yeah, he's like the natural. Like, this is Robert Redford.
Yeah, they're throwing him in the pocket right now, bro. What a dog.
He needs to beef up his instincts a little because he's only been playing linebacker for 3 years after playing quarterback where he's not hitting anybody, which is just it's so insane to me.
I can't believe Atlanta has passed on quarterback so many times.
He's had
let's just ride into the future with Marcus fucking Mariota.
Yeah, well then they passed on all the quarterbacks last year too. As like, I don't know. Maybe they're just punting until next year.
Makes no sense.
This has got to be Malik Willis, right? Ed Ingram, guard, LSU.
Ingram. Jesus. Like, I
don't know what's wrong with Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, dude. There's got to be something like
he's
got to have skeletons, bro.
Well,
dude, there's a handful of guys right now. Like,
what I heard is that
I don't know what's wrong with that.
He was
shouldn't be here.
What I heard about Nakobe Dean is that he was advised to get surgery on his pec, and he opted to do rehab instead, which could linger for a long time rather than surgery. You're guaranteed to be out for a certain amount of time, but you kind of have a hard timetable to come back. So,
Ed Ingram. That's
interesting.
I was going to say, the whole Nakobe Dean thing, the more and more this goes on, I've had 3 or 4 people separately text me and be like, what is happening with Nakobe Dean? Like, this guy was a surefire first-round pick to almost everybody.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here 60 picks into this thing, and he's still just hanging out.
He's been number 1 on the big board for like the last hour and a half.
I heard everything. Yeah. I heard Desmond Ridder was a lock to go in the first round because teams are going to fall in love with him.
Yeah.
And then the run on quarterbacks never happened, so he's just still sitting there.
They literally just took
a third of the league needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
And no one's taken one. This is like the worst game of chicken ever played.
Malik Willis would be the perfect fit in Minnesota too. They have a good young receiver that they're going to have to pay. Cousins is there, max 2 more years. That's the perfect timetable for Willis. And then you can keep Justin Jefferson happy because they're like, oh, look at this young stud we have coming in at quarterback. But at this rate, like, why not? You might as well just trade Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Trade him to the Bears.
Yeah, and then it's like by the time you think
send him to the Cowboys for a 5th-round pick. That's pretty good value.
No, Bears will offer a 4th.
But like by the time they're competitive too, like Thielen's gonna be past his prime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Thielen's only got a few years left, max. Like,
Thielen's gonna go to the Rams in probably a year or 2,
and just be.
Just be. Him and Harrison Smith both. They'll be Rams.
Yeah,
the Rams will.
The Rams haven't made a
pick in like 20 years.
Oh, they don't. I don't think the Rams pick until the 3rd round.
No, they don't. 103 is their first pick.
My dad's a big Rams fan.
Sean McVay was live streaming the draft last night, just hammered drunk, just like
that's incredible.
Whenever the Patriots took Strange, he was like just hammered. He was like, "Oh my god!" He was like, "I thought we could get him at 158.
That shows you how much they know about the draft. But the thing is with the draft, bro, like Les Snead wore to their Super Bowl parade.
Fuck them
picture. Yeah. So I'm like, they don't care about the draft. They're like us playing Madden, where we're just like, we will accumulate all our draft picks for a good player, and then we will send trade, and we will force trade, and that's how it goes.
Yeah,
we got a trade here. Ron's got a trade on the bottom line.
Trade time.
Ron, we got a trade. Who it is?
Cincinnati's on the clock.
Who are they coming up for?
Or did Cincinnati, was this always Cincinnati's pick?
I'm looking at a Toyota commercial right now.
Yeah, I'm
It was
I'm
the
watching a
Buffalo
progressive
Bills
commercial.
pick, and the Buffalo Bills traded out of this pick with the Cincinnati.
Okay.
So now the Bengals are your defending AFC champions are now on the clock.
What an incredible run for the Bengals too. Like I love that run last
And
year.
they beefed up that O-line. Ooh, that could be good for a while. But that
that could be pretty nasty.
AFC's tough.
Yeah. I mean, they got to play the Ravens twice a year.
Ravens are having themselves a hell of a. Everybody just like, who did they get today? A Java fell into their lap. A
3
Java
first-round
falls
talents.
into their lap. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for real, right? Like, literally, we were talking about it before he jumped on earlier. It was like, yeah, cool. You know, a first-round talent just boop, right in their lap.
Halfway
There
through
you
the
go.
second
Most
round.
Ravens shit of all time.
The Ravens just stay winning always.
Yeah. Except
Always.
Lamar's
Unreal.
pissed that they traded away his best friend for nothing.
Yeah.
Is he?
Oh
And
yeah.
he called him fat on the internet last night. Too.
Lamar was all over Twitter last night. He tweeted out like WTF with like a mad emoji. Then somebody said, "What the fuck are the Ravens doing?" And then he straight up retweeted that.
Well, it's like, too. Who are the who is he going to throw to next year? You know what I'm saying?
Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman and
Bateman.
Miles Boykin, like.
Hey, they run 2 tight ends with a fullback. They only need 2, right? They can only fit 2 wide receivers on the field.
Hey, just dump off Patrick to Patrick Ricard.
I'll say one thing. A team that I said last night, obviously, I mean, I don't think it's any secret. Everybody knows they're killing it, but the Jets getting Breece Hall right there.
Yeah.
That Jets team is going to be, I mean.
We would have liked
if
Becton Walker there.
If Becton plays and.
If he can get under 400 pounds.
Yeah, if Becton plays at a decent level and Zach Wilson is halfway like competent, that team is going to be nasty.
Sam Willis hates life, or Sam Howell. I said Sam Willis. Wow, I just combined both the top two of the
Sam Howell's going to end up in North Carolina.
If someone announces that they pick Sam Willis, do they get both?
Yeah.
I was looking at Sam Howell and I saw Malik Willis on my screen and just said, "Fuck it, they're a dual threat quarterback out of Alabama."
What if his name's also Malik Howell?
Malik Howell.
Ooh,
Malik
I like
Ritter.
that one better. That one's got a good ring to it.
Malik Howell.
I just got an update from Buccaneers.com that said we have selected Luke, whatever the dude's last name is, and I don't know why you said we, because I ain't no Bucs fan. I don't know why you even sent me that email.
Why do you have their email list?
Yeah,
why
I don't know why. I could have just got an
email?
email from the Tampa Bay.
Are they like are they buying email lists from defunct tech companies?
They
just like
gotta
sending
be,
out
bro.
box
It's like-
emails?
we got Tom Brady. Everybody's a Bucs fan now.
I mean, as a football guy, I will not lie to you. I did have a Mike Allstott and a John Lynch jersey at a young age.
Oh,
but I
those
don't
are-
think-
Everyone should have a Mike
ever.
Allstott jersey.
Yeah, if you
Everyone.
watch football, you should. I just don't think that's enough to put me on your email list. I think honestly, you know what I think it is? I applied for a job as like an account executive, and they just didn't hire me. So don't send me any more emails. If you're not gonna hire me, don't send me an email.
Fun fact: I have 2 very legendary number 28 Buccaneers jerseys in my closet. Or I'm sorry, 2 number 20s in general. I have a muscle hamster Doug Martin.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I have a number 28, though the wind of the old Earth, Wind, and Fire trio, Derek Ward.
Derek Ward.
Ooh, Derek, that's
That
a
was
name.
some real sickle time.
That's a deep boy right there.
They were Josh. That was the Josh Freeman era, bro.
Yeah, dude, that was a while back. That was like when I first started playing Madden.
Bro, I used to mash people.
Cam
with Josh
Taylor
Freeman.
Britt.
Okay,
There we go.
Cam Taylor Britt here. I can get
I
down
liked
with
him.
that.
I thought he was a
Yeah,
good-
safety out of Nebraska, Cam
I
Taylor
liked him in the
Britt.
3rd round.
A little bit of a reach. I like that chain by the
Little
big
bit, not
man
too
right there.
much. I mean, when you're talking 60, like I think he was around 3rd round. in
Can you-
most-
all right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: how much do you think a beer is? How much do you think a Bud Light is at the draft?
$9.50.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's my bet.
Vegas-
That's my bet. That's my guess.
That's
Vegas
a good
is
price.
already expensive.
The Bengals run the North. Yeah, you can wear that. Talk your shit, bro.
So Cam Taylor-Britt, his average big board rank was 77. So
Yeah,
I mean, bit of a reach,
much.
but like he went as high as 51 on some big boards. So just depending on who you asked. Captain has played some corner, has played some safety, solid size, little short, like 5'11". So I mean, he's not tall, but his weight's at 196. He's got some good weight on him. Decent length. Good 40 time at 4.38, good agility scores. Really just, I mean, a lot to like as far as his physicals go. He plays instinctively out there. He plays with an attitude, got a chip on his shoulder. He has the speed, like I said, but that means he can recover. Yeah. If he makes a bad step, he's not toast. He's not Eli Apple out here just getting burned. God, dude. But he needs to improve his angles to the football. And he needs to get better against double moves. He can get burned on those.
What's going on with Breece Hall right now?
I gotta take this one over real quick with a definitely not made up fun fact. As an infant, he came in second place in the contest to be the next Gerber baby. And you want to know who the first place Gerber baby was? The guy who's talking on this show right now, because I was a Gerber baby. As ugly as I am as an adult, I was cute as a baby, and they put me on the little posters and the little store and little displays.
You get any royalties for that?
I think my mom spent them all. But at some point, I was a Gerber baby, and I beat out my guy Cam Taylor-Britt. So I mean, dude, these not made up fun facts like that was fucking incredible. I saw that, and I'm like, I'm running with that.
Yeah.
I was a little stroller model. I got a little chubby. They introduced me to McDonald's at a young age. I stopped playing running back and moved to tight end and linebacker, and the rest is history. At one point, I was a model.
Absolutely.
That's not something a lot of people could put on their resume.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, it's a
surprised
little
the
bit
Buccaneers
down
didn't
there,
take
but
What was that, Jay?
I said surprised the Buccaneers didn't hire him after that.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, they should be like blowing my phone up right now. I would love a move to Tampa. That'd be nice. Tampa's a nice little city. It's close to Clearwater, nice little party area.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna go off and get some dinner. It was good joining you guys.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. Wait,
sir.
where can people find you, Jay?
Find me on Twitter at JMay56, firing off UFC hot takes most of the time, and a lot of Cowboys. I'm a realistic Cowboys fan, so not over the top, but not like
that's fair.
Overly defensive of the team. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that. We're Bears fans. You got to know you're in a safe space right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can find me and Jay on the Shaving Points podcast every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m.
Yes, sir. Where we just get into it about ridiculous hypothetical trades.
Yeah,
ridiculous hypothetical trades are fun though.
Yes,
they are.
Y'all take it easy.
Thanks for joining us.
So
the Niners are up. They're at 60.
Yeah, they're taking their time. I feel like they've been on the clock for a while now.
Well, the pick is in. The pick is in, so we will see here what happens when it's all said and done here. But
we're only 10 away. We're only 10 away from our.
I was gonna say, boys, we're only
probably about a half
3-4 picks away from the start of the third round here. So like we're getting there.
And isn't it crazy too, Ron? We haven't gotten your input on it, but I mean, dude, only one quarterback taken so far in Kenny Pickett, and that was almost 24 whole hours ago. Like probably 24 hours ago at this point, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you here, but just from the standpoint of like, I feel like every year we're so used to quarterbacks being overdrafted. Like, is this finally teams being like, you know what, this is truly a year where we should just sit back and just kind of wait this thing out? And here comes the 49ers pick. So I'm actually intrigued to see what we got here.
I wonder who they got calling the pick out. I'm like 3 years behind on the stream looking at.
Oh, it's Eric Armstead, current defensive tackle.
I like that they've been bringing out like the current players to bring out their new guy. I like that.
Ooh.
Ron's doing the tweet. Ron's making the face. Who would it be? I'm 3 business days behind.
Finally off the board is
Drake Jackson.
Wow, that's such a Cali
It took
pick,
some
too.
time.
The USC kid. You love that pick. I love picks like that, bro. Like the Hutch pick yesterday. I love the Pickett pick. I love this pick to the Niners from USC. You can't write a better story.
Yeah, staying in SoCal.
Well, he's going to NorCal now, though.
Oh, I am not very good at geography.
It's okay. But see, here's the
Just
funny
make
thing, though.
assumptions.
Here's the funny thing, though, is like low key, you can be like, well, he's staying in the state of California. Bro, it's like 4 hours to fucking San Fran from SoCal. Like, it is not. That's like the equivalent of going from like essentially northern Florida to like Illinois.
So I learned this the hard way when I moved to the state of Texas from Illinois, where I thought everything like a 2-hour drive was long. I learned the hard way that a 10-hour drive is long.
Yeah,
because the state of Texas is like 14 hours across.
I was gonna say because for you guys to go from like because you're near Dallas, right?
I'm in Austin.
Okay, so like from Austin to like San Antonio is like what, like 5 hours, right?
Oh no, so that's only an hour and a half, but
that's not bad.
Like 4 hours to Dallas, 3 to Houston.
I was gonna say because you're like right in the middle
to the western edge of Texas.
Yeah.
So it's like the eastern side's a little bit more manageable.
We got a Kansas City pick already. Here we go.
Yeah, Kansas City on the board at 62.
Ooh.
Bro, Jake, did you see Drake Jackson when they cut to him? Dude, he just looks like a beast. Just a big, large human being.
We got a safety off the board.
I'm good. I'm good to roll to 71. Sorry, that's why I was being quiet.
Oh, you're good.
I was making sure.
We got a Kansas City Chiefs pick here. We got safety Brian Cook.
Brian Cook. I like this pick. I like Brian Cook. I think he was getting a little underrated. Let's talk Brian Cook for a minute. Let's see that graphic and see some notes on it.
Baby. Let's get it.
Cook, man.
And honestly, I just like players out of Cincinnati this year because
I mean, dude, they made it to the CFP
to make this. That like it takes some grit to do that. Used to play cornerback, didn't do any athletic testing because of a shoulder injury that he got towards the end of the season in the college playoff, I believe. Average rank of 80 on the big boards. About average size. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, 205 pounds, something like that. Former cornerback. Can play in the slot. His play says that he has the strength to play in the NFL. He's got solid strength for the safety position. Does a good job of reading and understanding route concepts in front of him. Playing backwards and keeping his head forwards is something that he does a good job of. Experience and fitting into run lanes. This isn't a guy you have to worry about in run fits and tackling and being sound in that aspect of the game, which is important for a safety. I mean, we think about coverage first with safety, but like they're also the last line of defense. I don't think the run fits is something that you look for as the thing a safety does well that you want to draft. Like you're not drafting a guy because of his run fits, but it's something you want to see that he can do, and you're drafting because of his coverage. He gets over eager against double moves sometimes, trying to jump routes. His long speed is not excellent. So, like earlier, we were talking about a guy's ability to recover with excellent speed. Brian Cook doesn't have that same trait, so he has less of a margin for error to take a bad step and still be in place to make a play or be in sound coverage. And when he is tackling, he doesn't always run through the guy. He's more of he drags guys down. He doesn't go right through them and make them feel it. So solid tackler, but not a mean tackler. His first comp here is one of the reasons I liked him. Justin Blackmon. I mean, Blackmon went to Indy and excelled with Eberflus. One of the reasons I looked at Brian Cook a little more. Just because I saw that comp and went, okay, this guy's interesting. Scheme fit, too high. Another reason I thought he'd be a good fit with the Bears. And he collects vintage Disney VHS tapes, but he doesn't own a VCR. which is a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Dude, I just cannot get over
He
these.
has one of those. He has one of those. You remember those TVs that came with the VCR in it? That's what he's got. He's got to have one.
Oh, that makes more sense then.
He's got to have one.
Why would you have these boxes of VHS tapes with no VCR?
He's got to have one of those.
Okay.
And now we got the Bills on the clock, and they're saying the pick is already in.
Bills at 63.
Cornerback first round.
Have they picked again since then?
Ron, is this the third round yet?
No,
we are still
64 is the end of the second.
Okay.
Yeah, Denver possesses the last pick of the second round.
We have successfully sat on a live stream for 2 hours, thought that we were going to get Nakobe Dean with our first pick, and he could still be available. I don't know how the Bears go 3 defensive players like right out the gates, but like what do we have left at receiver to pick or offensive line like Quintin?
Let's see that big board.
Talk me off the ledge to where we could go with Raymond still available, I know, on the offensive line at 32 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you could go Raymond. I mean, honestly, at this point, Raymond would be good value.
Abraham Lucas is still there.
So let's see. What do we want to see? We want to see O-line. We want to see wide receiver. Is that it?
O-line, wide receiver, and then, I mean, dude, and Nakobe Dean. So we'll just throw Nakobe in there.
So there we go. Abraham Lucas, Bernard Raymond, Nick Petit-Frere, which I'm not a big fan of Petit-Frere. I got a lot of questions on him. Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert could be a very solid. Like I would like that pick. Sean Ryan's a guy I would like.
Oh, I would love Sean Ryan at pick 71. I would lose my brain if that was the pick.
But I honestly think you're going to have more success finding offensive tackle later than you are wide receiver.
Can we talk about this pick that just occurred?
Hold on,
James Cook.
James Cook is a
Buffalo
guy,
Ron. That's your guy.
That is my guy. James Cook was a guy that I like low key. I did a couple mock drafts and like traded back and got extra assets for the Bears. And he was a guy I took in the 4th round. So he goes all the way in the 2nd round, much higher than I think a lot of people expected him to go.
He's got those NFL genetics, man. Dalvin's little brother.
Where's that? There's Dalvin in the back. You see Dalvin in the back with the beanie on? Dalvin's a dog. Look at that baby. That baby won no parts of that celebration. Oh my God. And too, you know, I mean, the Bills, they're not gonna have to play Dalvin all the time, but like, dude, I'm probably gonna pick James Cook in fantasy next year just for the fuck of it, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run. He has good.
Yeah, they got 3 running backs now. Like, I don't know who's going to get touches.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I mean, I would almost argue. I don't know about you guys, but like, I mean, I think one of the most interesting things about Cook, especially in his time at Georgia, was because Georgia really they had good playmakers at receiver. Obviously, Pickens was kind of hurt and dealing with off the field stuff and things like that. And obviously, they had that stud freshman tight end who's going to be an absolute monster in the NFL in a couple of years.
Bowers?
Bauer. He's incredible. But they really leaned heavily on Zamir White and James Cook. And a lot of times, you would see James Cook split out as a wide receiver because he is that solid of a route runner as a running back and has good hands. I think he's probably such a complete back, and that's why he's appealing to Buffalo. I mean, anytime you have a guy that can be a check down for a guy like Josh Allen on any given play. I mean, even if in his rookie year, he's a 3rd down running back at worst.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good spot to be in. And if he just continues to prove himself, I mean, he can easily win that job in Buffalo.
Well, my question is just like, where does that leave Devin Singletary? Because like Zach Moss is more their like their hammer, and Singletary was their 3rd down back, I believe.
The Broncos go Malik Willis right here.
Nope.
Quintin.
They did not go Malik Willis. Sorry,
Nick Bonito.
Nick Bonito. Do you want to talk about Nick Bonito, Mr.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at this spot, I don't think Bonito's bad. I saw some mocks with the Bears taking Bonito at like at 39. I did not like that, but like at 64, I think he makes sense. Very athletic, undersized. This guy's a like situational pass rush specialist, just twitched up, freakish. I mean, this guy can rush the passer. Vic Beasley, Hassan Reddick are some of the comps here, which should tell you a little bit about him physically and why he's just a situational pass rusher. Right now, He can get better. He can add some weight to defend the run better. But right now, he's a skinny, fast edge rusher who's going to hit that corner. He's going to bend it. He's going to go try to get to the quarterback. He's got a good toolbox of pass rush moves. He's not a one-trick pony either on the pass rush. But his length is one of the things that fails him in the run support. Guys can get into him when he's not getting that first step explosive straight back to the quarterback. Against the run, you're not attacking the same way, and that impacts his ability to stop the run. Like I already said, undersized. He can't bull rush. He just doesn't have it. And he has a major crush on Danica Patrick. So it's a good thing he didn't go to Green Bay.
That midget.
I don't hate that fun fact, but Quintin, I think you bring up so many good points, and like you said, for the value that Denver's getting here, right? Because I mean, they have Bradley Chubb. They now have added at that position, getting Lawrence as well from the Cowboys. They have their every down guys. That's actually interesting because I forgot about Lawrence, because Lawrence is kind of the same kind of guy. Well, and maybe so. This is where I think it's interesting, and this is kind of what I wanted to bounce this idea off of you guys. Is maybe they see Benito, because the NFL is going to write this pass heavy. When you get teams on 3rd and long, to me, Benito is a perfect guy. You bring in, you take out #Crackham, one of your, maybe your one tech or your, even if it's your three, depending on who's a better pass rusher, and maybe he's off the edge, and you move a Chubb or a Lawrence inside, and maybe
Chubb can play a 5-tech on passing downs, and then you got 2 legit edge rushers out there with Chubb. I like that. That's a good call.
Could you imagine that matchup that you're going to get with Bradley Chubb on the inside?
It's like it's almost it's interesting. It's almost like the NBA switched to such positionless type of game. And you're seeing that some with linebackers and defensive linemen on passing downs, where it's like these guys don't play a position. These guys are just attackers.
Go get them. Yeah. Just go get them or drop back. Yep.
So it's like those guys who can play the edge, like the wide or the 5-tech, are becoming very valuable in the league.
And just imagine, too, especially in an instance, right, where Denver steps in and maybe Chubb, like you said, bumps down to that 5. And you have, Benito on the opposite edge. But like, imagine stacking Lawrence and Chubb on the same side and running a game. You run a TNT stunt, or you run an end tackle stunt. All of a sudden, somebody's coming free, and that is just a recipe for success for that defense that's very strong in Denver.
Especially, you're a former offensive lineman. You load up one side and play a game over there, and you leave Randy Gregory on the other side, just one-on-one. That's a matchup you love. Like you're overloading that side, and Sarah's saying, this guy's the Mike over here, and you're leaving one-on-one with 2 guys over here, and one of them is Randy Gregory. That's something you really like.
I was going to say, that just gives them so many passing options, because they're really set on that defense. I don't think overall they don't have a lot of holes on that defense.
Yeah.
And really, I think as a team, they don't have a lot of holes. So I think they felt like, hey, we can take a stab at a guy that's just a weapon right now as a youth, like you said, right? Right now, he's a situational pass rusher. This is a guy, though, they can develop it down the road to be that guy that takes over on the other side, maybe opposite of Bradley Chubb for the long haul.
Yeah.
Did y'all just see that commercial?
No, what was it?
Desmond Ridder is a DoorDasher. Why is he not the first overall pick?
Maybe he's a DoorDasher because he wasn't a first-round pick.
Correct. It's all about perspective. That's a good way to look at it. That is a very good way to look at it.
He filmed that commercial today.
I swear to God he did. In the same suit.
Well,
picks him for the Jets.
I'm trying to think of any situational pass rushers who got drafted and really developed in the run game strongly. Because like Leonard Floyd was always good against the run. He was never a situational pass rusher, even though he was a body type that made you think he was.
That's how I looked at Walker and Hutchinson this year. I looked at Walker as more of like a Leonard Floyd guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that comp.
Yeah, I mean, Walker was used very similar to what Floyd was at Georgia. Like, different, but like similar in how they never really had a defined role.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of the guys who come into the league as like pass rush specialists tend to stay pass rush specialists. Like even like you look at Robert Quinn on the Bears. He can play the run, but it's not something he excels at even today. Like he made some tackles for loss, but I wouldn't say that he's excellent at setting an edge. He can't anchor. You know, he just doesn't have the body weight and the strength to set down on a spot and say this spot is mine. You know? Like that's what like Khalil Mack is one of the guys who could play the 5 tech or the edge, the rush backer, and it's because he had that strength to anchor, you know, and the length to lock out and keep the blocker at bay.
We got the pick for the Jags, and it's Luke Fortner, center out of Kentucky.
Oh, you're falling behind, buddy.
Sorry, I'm ranting over here.
Here too. Brian Asamoah also off the board, linebacker out of Oklahoma to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
A pair of picks already coming off. They are
moving
fast because the pick is in for the New York Giants already, boys. Like they are moving quick.
All right, I'm going to go take a stress piss and think about who the Bears are going to pick, and I will be back in a moment. I will be back in.
All right, we're gonna let Bdon do Bdon things, but Q, I want to go back real quick to what you said too, like about positionless football, because I think that's so important in this draft because we can tie it back to what the Bears did with the Brisker pick. Richard Sherman was quoted; it's come out on a couple different outlets already that Brisker is that like positionless DB, right?
Yeah.
He can come down and be the nickel. He can drop back and be the high safety. He can fill in the run in the box. And that's really what the Bears need opposite of Eddie Jackson because they've never had that guy that has been complete out aside from Jackson other than probably Amos. Like
Amos, but even Amos, I don't think you could have dropped him down into on the line of scrimmage to play nickel. Like, right. You know, like he could fill the box and he could do deep, he could play deep, but like that was never really an option with him.
Yeah, and I completely agree, and I think that's something it's so fascinating with that move, but it brings me back to like what you were saying about Georgia, right? Like Georgia has that, like I call it the dog roll, and I know a lot of people have very different verbiage for it everywhere, but you know every team's got that kind of guy that's like that hybrid end linebacker, especially the 3-4, right? Like we see it time and time again. Trey Walker was that guy for this year's team. Floyd was that guy when he was there. Jarvis Jones was that guy way back in the day. You know,
the Sam backer who's like playing that strong side where he can cover the tight end. He can rush the passer and
Exactly. Well said. So I'm glad you brought that up because I think that is so important in today's game of like you're seeing so many more of these guys just come into league and be this kind of Swiss Army knife. We're seeing a lot of it now, and I kind of like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It makes football interesting, right? Because like when you have a freak athlete, and this is why I'm take it back. Like I get super excited over the Brisker pick, right? Like this is a guy now all of a sudden that on in certain packages, if you get caught with, 4 receivers on the field, you don't need to be like timeout. We need to get a 4th corner out there. No. Hey, Brisker, you're dropping down.
You're flexible.
You're the nickel or you're the dime corner. Then you got your other nickel corner over here, whether that's, like we talked about, whether that's Jordan, whether that's Graham, whoever that ends up being.
Yeah.
To then, have the other, Graham or Jordan play opposite then of Jalen.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting too, because it just like, dare I say, like the Brisker Jackson tandem gets me thinking about the Chris Harris, Mike Brown, Chicago Bears days.
I mean, I don't think it's something that you should be like not saying.
Yeah, that's not far fetched at all, dude. Mike Brown, honestly, like
if that dude stayed healthy, would have been one of the best safeties.
If I were to look at my Bears fandom, like in a nutshell, right? Like just let's look at the history. I'm 28 years old. I just turned 28 2 weeks ago or a week ago or how many ever days ago. I don't even know. Mike Brown, bruh, that run that season, like Quentin, you might got a couple years on me, Ron. I think you're younger than me, but like we can all remember where we were.
Yes.
When he put his hands on that football and started running the other direction every single time. And
so I remember like that year I was just starting to get into football. Yeah. Like that was like the first year where I was watching football with my dad where I was like, okay, I'm like getting into it. And I remember the Jacksonville game, and I wasn't actually watching that one with him. And then I hear him. I'm in the basement, and I hear him just laughing so hard. So I come upstairs. I'm like, I gotta see what's funny. And I'm just seeing this replay of 350-pound Keith Traylor trucking down the field with the football, and my dad's just dying laughing on the couch. And I'm like, okay, I gotta keep watching now.
Ooh, we got Cleveland trading up here with Houston.
So
in this pick now.
We had a pick come off, right? Josh Ezeudu.
Yes, Ezeudu guard.
One of the, if not the only person that actually blocked for Sam Howell this year.
Yeah, so he went to New York. Was it the Giants?
Correct, to the New York Ball Giants.
And the Browns pick at 68 is in. We're just waiting on the result.
It is. We'll get that here in just a hot second. This has been fun so far. This has been a fast day 2. No,
this might get me canceled, but the ABC reporter is a very fine looking young woman.
I just wouldn't keep talking about it.
I have no idea.
I think what you said was fine,
but she's doing a great job.
She's doing a great job. Okay, Bdon, you need to go. You need to go find some more. What's the term I'm looking for? Some liquid courage.
I mean, I'll shoot my shot, but I don't even know who she is.
Hey,
who are the Browns about to get right here?
I don't know.
And the Browns are an interesting. They're an interesting team though, because it's like, when do you actually get Deshaun Watson out on the field? Because isn't he going to be suspended?
No one knows.
Might be.
Yeah, who knows?
He very well might be.
He's got to get 6 games.
There's such a question mark at this point. I mean,
no, so if I was the NFL, you know what I'd do? I'd give him 5 games this year and 5 games next year, just to make sure it hurts.
Just split it up,
to make sure it hurts.
Just to be like, you thought you were off punishment. Nah, your ass is going down.
Like, the Browns thought that it would just be 1 year that you're dealing with not having them. No, it's 2.
And that's the most Browns thing about the Browns. Like, they tiptoed around everything. Strictly football, I love Deshaun Watson. He's a great football player. I don't know what's going on with the suspension and all that other stuff, but you get as a Browns fan, like, they got to be questioning what actually the product on the field next year is going to be.
Yeah,
we're going to find out who another player.
They have some massive holes on their team. Like,
and dude, they're 2 years removed from possession or 2 away from taking out the Chiefs.
So here we go. Martin Emerson. That's a pick I like for them. I mean, I don't know how much corner was really a need for them, but I like the player. You're drafting a good player there. I think he's a quality
Emerson
guy who can really be great value right there. I mean, long, big corner. Average athletically, maybe a little below average, but long and big. Patient player, understands the game pretty well, and just has a good feel for the game. Just a natural coverage guy. He knows how to create little subtleties, like little contact that matters, if that makes sense, in coverage when he's when he's following a guy, trailing a guy. Just small bumps. His instincts are very good, and he avoids flags despite that contact because it's subtle. It's very careful. It's very understated and very helpful to what he does. Yeah, he's a smooth player. That's the best way I can put it.
And the one thing the Browns don't have many holes on is that defense. I like the Browns' defense. I think they've added a lot of pieces throughout the draft. They have good players and guys like Myles Garrett.
Do they have Waffle Houses in Ohio?
I don't know.
Because this guy only eats at Waffle House.
Oh, is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. And he only gets the turkey melt, which is something else.
What?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to Waffle House, get the waffle. I mean,
no, if you're going to Waffle House, you get the Grand Slam.
All right,
Come
so
on now.
You gotta get the waffle.
The Grand Slam
for next year. If we do an on-tap fantasy football draft, we gotta send the loser to the Waffle House to eat 24 hours worth of turkey nuts. That sounds.
I saw that.
That sounds. All right, so wait. Ron's probably ahead of me, but we got the nicest pick in the draft out, number 69, the Tennessee Titans. Guy out there in a Derrick Henry jersey.
And we got a pick on your picker.
The pick is in. Let Bdon announce it.
Nicolas Petit-Frere. Français, parlez-vous français?
Let's see. Did you say it right? Did you say it right? We'll have the phonetic spelling up here in a second.
Hold on. Did I? Petit-Frere. I've always been, you know this, Quentin. I'm the bad pronunciation guy. We wouldn't be where we are without.
I think he might have nailed it. I think he might have. I've been struggling with this name since the first time I saw it this draft season.
He nailed it.
Oh, yeah, let's go. I want to spell it.
Petit-Frere. Yep. So
the relative
I'm not a
huge
fan of this guy. He has a high ceiling. He has a lot of stuff that you really like to see. A middling athlete for the position, but there's some games where it's like, man, this guy's good. And there's other games where it's like, this guy can't stop a thing. So it's a very up and down film. His film against Penn State was god awful. Like Arnold Ebiketie ate his lunch. So that's very worrying for me. But he has a lot of stuff on tape that's very good too. So it's every evaluator is going to look at him differently because of that. Some people are going to look at the good. Some people are going to look at the bad. Some people will weigh one thing heavier than the rest. When I say he's below average on most of the athletic stuff, he's not severely below average on anything. So he has a little bit of everything athletically that you look for. Just doesn't excel in any one area athletically, which is kind of good for an offensive lineman, to be honest. You want to see those guys who are very level across the board.
You got another pick in already, the Jaguars, and then we're on the clock. Chad Muma. Oh my God! I saw him, dude. Okay, so let me give you. This is my Chad Muma moment. So, Wyoming came to DeKalb this year. They beat NIU in like a barn burner ass game. It was like 56-49. NIU went down 4 touchdowns, battled back, took the lead, lost. But in the process of that game, I saw Chad Muma make a play that I've only ever seen J.J. Watt make on a football field. And it was a pass play. It was a drag route. It was a quick route concept. My guy, Rocky Lombardi, drops back to pass. Chad Muma lines up on the edge. Rocky goes for the drag route. Chad Muma press X on his controller, jumps up, picks it off, runs it back for a touchdown. And in the press box, I mean, as someone who's like, I'm a fan of NIU, but I also cover them, I'm just like, God damn it, that was one of the best plays I've ever seen watching 28 years of football. And he's a great tackler. He's, as Ron would say earlier, he's a glue guy. He's a leader. I think that's a great pick. I don't hate Chad Muma there. Yeah. I wouldn't have hated him to see if Chad Muma had an opportunity to come to the Bears. I wouldn't have hated that either. But also, can we talk about this? Chad Muma off the board before Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, that's wild.
If you would have told me that before the draft, I would not have believed it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think in fairness, I don't think Chad Muma's a guy I would have even thought would have been one of the first 8-9 linebackers taken on the draft, let alone ahead of Nakobe Dean.
So I'll be honest here. I had a gut feeling that Muma and Troy Anderson might be better pro players than Dean, just a gut feeling. And I think the NFL's agreeing with me.
Yeah.
I like I said, I like Nakobe Dean. I just think some of his measurables are gonna be tough to overcome.
Boys, the Bears pick is in.
Oh my God.
Oh, so they're not trading.
Dude, it's
man.
All right,
everyone. Poles has got to be a wizard.
Go around the
Poles has got to be a wizard the rest of the way.
Ron, you go first since you are probably already. Oh, that's the pick. That's my friend. Don't show that shit. Come on, man. That's bullshit.
I saw the play that you were talking about.
Man, that's my friend, dude.
That's amazing. I like Sean Ryan. I think that's a perfect pick here.
Ryan?
He's probably a day one starter. Comes in, fills in at that other guard spot. You got Patrick playing center. You got Whitehair at the other guard, and then you got a combination of Borum and Jenkins at the tackles. I think that's a nice offensive line to build around for at least this season, and then you just continue to add to that going forward.
Quinn.
Who was the FCS wide receiver I was talking about? I forget his name off the top of my head. Yeah, because I like Sean Ryan. I like a few offensive linemen right now. I just think there's going to be better value later in the draft for offensive line, which is what
you're
really need.
You're a Jalen Tolbert guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm thinking Jalen Tolbert here.
Good.
I'm thinking Jalen Tolbert here.
All right, so
because I don't think the same value is going to be there.
And I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, Q. The only reason I pulled that name out of my ass is because of your draft board. So thank you for that.
All right,
here we go. We got a pick.
I'm gonna be the meatball in the room before the pick actually gets released. I'm saying Nakobe Dean.
Velus Jones.
Ooh, I like that pick. I like that pick at the receiver position.
Do you? Okay, good. Then I am going to step away and let you two dissect this. I'll bring up his draft.
So it's not as pretty as Calvin Austin or Jalen Tolbert, but Velus Jones in the Tennessee offense was that deep threat. He was the guy who would take the top off the defense. He has a little bit of size to him. He's not like the biggest receiver in the world, but he's bigger than Darnell Mooney. I personally think like he's not going to come in and be like what we saw out of Darnell Mooney right away, but at his size, at 6 foot, at 200 pounds, you can line up in the slot. You can line him up on the outside. He runs all the different routes. And on top of that, I don't know what his 40 time is. You're going to have to pick me up on the 40 time, but like I'm looking at him. Yeah, I'm looking at him on my screen, bro. He's got burners. I watched plenty of SEC and Tennessee games last year to see that Hendon Hooker was able to find him plenty of yards away from the nearest defender, and he could also return kicks. So I think it's like it may not be the best receiver that we could have gotten in the draft, but given the position that we picked him at, I'm pretty sure someone else had him mocked to the Bears. I don't hate it. I could deal with it.
There are a handful of guys I would have liked a lot more here. I mean, he's got legit speed, but I worry about his routes. Most of his production was on screens and schemed up stuff. It wasn't on him winning routes very often. He just didn't have a detailed route tree. He didn't have a whole lot of it. So that's really my biggest concern here. He's also 25 years old.
Oh, he's
which at this point in the draft you can live with, but like there's some guys that like I think Bo Melton and Danny Gray have the same upside as Velus Jones and are 4 years younger and still on the board. And I think they were projected around the same area, which like we were saying earlier, the NFL teams' big boards might be completely different than what we're basing off of.
Yeah.
But like Velus Jones was projected at highest 83 on average 134.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a reach to me. His athletic traits are out of this world.
That's what I'm saying.
Straight line.
That's where I
From a straight line aspect, at least. He accelerates on a dime, but he's not an agile guy. And Joey, what do you think?
Oh, Joey's back.
Yeah, I hop back in here. What's up, guys?
Talk with your
I don't think your mic's on, Joey.
Talk with your chest.
I mean, I saw it, obviously, but I missed it.
We can't hear you, bro.
You're very quiet, Joey. Speak with your chest.
Yeah, with your chest, Mr. Cheese.
Mr. Cheese. While Joey's getting his mic under control real quick, I want to pop in. To me, any of you agree that this just feels like a pick that they understand?
Yeah, am I good?
Fields' deep strength, arm strength.
Okay,
I like that.
Yeah,
like
I mean that's the upside to this to me is that like you got a burner and you already have a burner, so like it puts a little more stress on the defense to be on their P's and Q's, you know, like they can't have a bust in coverage because Mooney or Jones will make you pay. One of the two. You don't have a wide margin for error.
I guess
it's kind of like Marquez Valdez-Scantling was in Green Bay.
Don't you say that.
Just a straight line burner who's going to make you pay when there's a busted coverage.
But I mean, if you look at it, Fields was the most accurate quarterback on air yards coming out of the draft. So
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you had Bdon out of here. You knew I was going to be like, like a girl seeing Justin Bieber for the first time. But like,
I mean, like I said, there's a lot to be excited about with this guy.
I want to bet on Vilas Jones in the bowl season, so maybe that's part of it too. But like, it was like Vilas. It was like a very nasty same game parlay. It included a Hendon Hooker touchdown. Like it was really.
Was
bad,
it like an anytime touchdown or something?
Joey, it was when that night with Bet Rivers happened where I got all those free bets and I just started hammering anything that would let me hammer it. And Vilas Jones anytime was on there, and I think he scored like two.
Let's go.
In the bowl game. Big game guy. But I think like look at it like this, okay?
He won you some money though, so he's got a special spot in your heart.
At the very least, look at it like this though, right? Who's running kicks and punts back for us?
I think he's a great option for that now that you got him. I mean,
if you can't find a spot for him right away in the offense, throw him back there at return, man, and let's see what he's got back there. And that's like
with Quintin,
that's my bailout.
Though, like, I'll just say this: these are kind of my thoughts. These are kind of my thoughts on Vilas Jones. I don't think he was the best pick at the spot. I will say that. Like where you got him in the draft, like he's a toy. Like this is somebody that you're going to move him around, probably play him in the slot a little bit, try to get him deep, try to use his speed. I don't really like his release. He's not a guy that like his hands are kind of untrustworthy at this point still, I think. But he's kind of a gadget player that maybe they see something with Getsy's scheme that they can kind of use him with. And, you know, with Fields, obviously you can do some things with him with the speed and stuff like that. So that's actually like
one of the reasons I
taking a shot on him. I just think my pick here, if I was going to go wide receiver, was the guy for me that are intriguing as well. I just think you could have got him maybe a little bit later. I was actually thinking there was some decent offensive linemen here too, like Kinnard. I kind of like Kinnard.
Lucas just went right here.
Abraham Lucas just went.
Vilas Jones at Tennessee, 56% of his snaps came in the slot.
Still on the board, wasn't he?
Yeah, if you're going to take a 25-year-old, I would rather had Ryman.
Yeah.
Or Raymond, however you say it.
But before you go
he was still on the board. He had 47. Ramen noodle.
I'm a be eating ramen. I'm just playing. I got the draft pick right. We eat steaks. But I saw a stat while Vilas Jones was still on the screen. He had 4,700 all-purpose yards at USC and at Tennessee.
So 64% of his yards last year came after the catch, and his average depth of target was only 7 yards.
So we need Eli Manning as our quarterback, is what you're telling me.
So he doesn't. He didn't run a lot of downfield.
It's a Matt Nagy pick. He's good with the curl routes.
Yeah, I mean he played a lot of screens and a lot of short routes and relied on his speed after the catch to win. Which makes me wonder: does he run his routes fast, or does he run fast with the ball in his hands? Like not all guys do both well. Which is something I'll have to go look at the tape and figure out.
You know, he's done the route running is fast.
Right. So I do like that he's played 56% of his snaps in the slot and 44% out wide.
I don't think
that's
done the route running.
Yeah, pretty even.
Fast to your point, Quentin. I think he's definitely.
Yeah. So that's one of my worries with him. I mean, he can be a solid.
That's more.
Player,
that's
Yeah,
that's more than I
he's
thought.
Played a good bit inside and outside.
I thought he was more inside.
Yeah, and that could be like most of his target. I don't know where his targets came from, though. I'll have to go look at how many of his targets came in the slot versus outside, because that could be like he's a decoy outside.
That's what you want to see though in this Bears offense, where it's like you got guys like Byron Pringle, Equinemius St. Brown, Darnell Mooney. And now you add Vilas Jones to that equation.
Did David Bell go already?
Not yet, no.
I would have rather seen David Bell there.
You are correct, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was my guy.
I feel like David Bell, you know what you're getting day one much more. Like he's not blowing the top off, but I think this guy's a pro.
Here's your David Bell.
100%. Yeah. I think David Bell does everything
the Falcons
well. Without being like super fast or anything.
Desmond Ridder is the second quarterback off the board.
Goes before Malik Willis.
I almost bet on that. I hate myself for not doing so.
Who would have thunk?
Malik Willis was
Willis
like
going undrafted? Is Malik Willis going undrafted?
That's where I'm sitting. I think that's what I see happening.
Wow.
Dude, he's gonna be like a 4th round pick at this pace.
I don't know. Maybe he murdered somebody. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either because
damn, bro, I should have laid a little Woody
top
on
guy.
Ritter.
Yeah.
Wild.
Damn.
All right. Well,
I would not have expected that.
So are we gonna keep going for a little while, or do we need to wrap up? What's the plan here?
Game plan, boyos.
We can certainly we can do either or. The gentleman feels like whatever you guys are feeling. I mean, I would say we could probably write.
I think I'm choppy right now.
I'm fine to keep it on going. I'm just curious.
I mean,
am I good now? Am I good now?
You sound much better now, Joey.
All right, how about this?
Am I good
guys?
now?
We go until a Notre Dame player is selected, because then I have to write that article.
Oh hell, we'll be here all night if that's.
Oh, you jag off! Sorry that your team is literally got like. All right, Ron, how many Georgia players have been selected so far, my friend?
Oh, enough for me to lose count.
Enough for you to start like your Madden franchise with. Like, you're good.
Bro, that defense alone could have been a friggin' NFL.
Oh, we got a trade.
Kobe Dean's still on the board, bro. He's been number 1 since like we were at.
We
started this stream.
Do the Houston Texans, who just traded up, go for Malik Willis?
I mean,
I don't know, man. I like Davis Mills. I'm a Davis Mills guy myself.
Davis Mills. You could make the argument he would have been the top quarterback in this class. So the Texans were playing some like 4D underwater chess and got the number 1 pick in this draft before he was the number 1 pick in this draft.
The Broncos going Sam Howell right here, my dude. Damn, I didn't know Desmond Ridder was a father. He's my father.
Yeah.
He's got
Desmond Ridder's a grown man. That's why everyone thought NFL teams would fall in love with him, because he's like a fully mature
man.
He's got a lawn. He's got a lawn that he's got to mow, a kid.
Yeah.
All that shit.
He spends his Saturdays at Home Depot. Like,
their NFL comp for him is Dak Prescott.
I hate him.
Yeah, that's my comp. That's one of the comps that I have. That's my favorite one for him. I mean, he lacks some stuff with his arm,
Notre Dame
but
right out
he's got a lot of grit.
They show in Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think he's one of the things with Dak that gets me is like he's almost robotic. Like I don't know how well he actually does when stuff breaks down or stuff doesn't go the way it's supposed to. And I see the same thing with Ridder. I think he's very like process oriented.
Yeah, and quarterbacks are creatures of habit, bro. Like,
yeah.
You got to be a process-oriented quarterback. You're a leader.
Yeah.
He can run, too. He's not the fastest.
I don't know that Mahomes is process-oriented.
I mean, yeah. But he can't just throw it down there and expect Tyreek to catch it anymore.
I'm not too worried about it.
No, now he's just going to chuck it downfield and some other guy's going to find it. You know they're going to find some gem of a receiver late. They got Sky Moore, bro. It's going to be Sky Moore.
Yeah.
Just watch. More, baby. We got that right. Just the wrong pick.
It's going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Junior.
He's in KC now.
We have a reach.
Or Juju. They got Juju.
Oh, my God. The TikTok man himself. Dude, poor Malik Willis.
Here comes number 75.
All right, so I found this out after the fact, but did you guys know that Bo Nix beat out Malik Willis at Auburn?
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy around that.
Wow, another linebacker not named Nakobe Dean.
Christian Harris to the Texans.
That's that Bama shit right there. Saban made the call.
Would you like a profile, my good sir?
Absolutely.
It's not a bad pick. I don't hate it. I hate these hats though. These hats are bunk, bro.
Yeah, the hats are terrible this year. Christian Harris, average big board rank of 52, so good value here based on what the draft analyst had to say. 4.4 second 40. This dude's fast. Little undersized, but not anything that's gonna be detrimental. At like 230 pounds, 6'2". Not bad, and just average athlete other than the speed. At least for what he tested in, which is really just vertical jump. So it's not even worth saying average. He didn't do agility drills, which is kind of a big deal at linebacker. So that's something that kind of raises my suspicion a little. But big frame. He has room to add mass onto it. So that little bit undersized, not too much of a worry. This guy's going to fill out. Big hitter. This dude's an explosive tackler, plays into contact, loves the contact. He wore a lot of hats at Alabama, played a lot of different roles there as the middle linebacker. I believe he called the defense at times, at least. And on the negative side, he tends to hyper focus on the running back sometimes, so he can get drawn into play action with that, and then ends up on the ground more than you want to see. Which, with more weight, if he had some more mass, I don't think that's something you'll be too worried about. But right now, at 225, he ends up on the ground more than you want. And he didn't clearly improve every year at Alabama, which is something that scouts care about a lot. They want to see constant improvements. They want to see you carry that improvement into the NFL and keep getting better. So that's probably a big reason why he fell, was just because he's kind of been flatlined at Alabama as far as his production. And he actually asked me to tell everybody about this, that he has completed 87 Sudoku puzzles in his life. He's very proud of that fact.
I couldn't even get through one of them. Like, how you gonna get through one of those? Mine is 87 Sudoku.
Yeah, 87.
However the hell you say it. Dude, Sudoku puzzles are a pain in the ass. They're so hard. They're not easy. Yeah, bro. Man. I mean, at least he's a cerebral linebacker because anyone who got through 87 of those is a nerd.
It's a lot.
Look at that emotion right there, though. That's a dude that's going to go out there and get you 100 tackles next year, come hell or high water, though.
We do.
So I almost wonder how much of, like I said, he was asked to play a lot of roles, wear a lot of hats at Alabama. I almost wonder how much that stagnated his production because he wasn't able to kind of tunnel vision in on a role and just keep getting better at it. But his role kept changing.
That's a real thing. No, that's a real thing. I mean, that's a selfish thing from a college coach, especially one of Nick Saban's prestige to put on a linebacker.
Like that was what happened about Leonard Floyd at Georgia. Was like that. He was an edge rusher. Then he was the outside linebacker. Then he was an inside linebacker, and like he never really did anything of substance at any position, but he did them all well enough.
Yeah. So it's like, what is it? I forgot what the quote is, and I'm gonna mess it up. But it's like jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Yeah, I think you nailed the quote.
Oh my god, I did it. I mean, still though, because I fall into that category, bro. I try to do too much, and it's like I need to just focus in and be good at one thing specifically, and then the rest will take care of itself. But yeah, I mean, dude, he's a good pick there at that spot. What'd you say?
Yeah,
his value was like 52.
Yeah, average. His worst rank was 108. So like even that, I mean, that'd be a bit of a reach, but at this point, 30 picks off isn't really that big a reach.
We'd be doing the parade, the Christian Harris parade, if he made it to 108 for whoever they had him. But yeah, I mean, so far dude, I almost feel like we have to stay on for you to see Malik Willis get drafted, and I just don't know when that's going to happen.
I don't think he's going to get drafted.
He might go undrafted. Who knows?
I mean, do the Ravens take him because Lamar hasn't signed his contract yet? Like
at this point, whoever gets him is getting such a deal. Like they're getting a Dak Prescott contract.
We have him mocked to 8th.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Brugler had him mocked 8th.
He's a good talent, dude. Like,
Dane Brugler. Like that's a big name.
Yeah.
That is a big name.
If Brugler thought this was good enough to go 8th, I mean, he's like, him and Zerline are the two that I respect the most of any draft analysts. Like they put in so much. I mean, all of them put in work, but they put in so much obvious work, and like they thought that he was that high.
Can you do me a solid, Ron, and tell me where our next pick is at? We don't have another one tonight, right?
The Bears do not have another one tonight. Their next pick is number 148 in the 5th round.
Yeah. That's why they needed to trade back.
Yeah.
They
have 148.
I don't like not having this many picks, man. Using that for Velus Jones Jr. just pisses me off even more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have
trade it back for something.
Tomorrow we have 148, 150, and 186.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And that's
Give
it.
me. Oh God, they're probably gonna have to do, like,
UDFA.
at least 2 offensive linemen.
They gotta go crazy.
But I want,
on UDFAs.
like, I'm getting like significant FOMO already by thinking of them having Velus Jones and not Bo Melton or Danny Gray.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm a fraud.
I'm upset about David Bell. Like Scott from Iowa said in the comments, 90% of David Bell's production was against Iowa, and maybe that's where some of this comes from, being an Iowa fan and watching it. But like David Bell, they had some good cornerbacks, and they had some good safeties at Iowa.
Yeah. Oh man,
And,
I'm a little upset about that one. I hope he's good.
Bell used to freaking torch them, and I mean, yeah, Velus Jones Jr. I hope he's great, man. But I'll be honest.
Yeah,
like your return man specialists that is a project on as a receiver, in my opinion, at that spot was just kind of like I would have preferred a tackle, a guard.
My thing with
something like
older guys,
I like Kinnard too.
They can't be projects. You're 25 years old. You better know what you're doing out there.
Out by then, bro.
And that's what gets me with it the most. Like, I mean, so Bernard Raymond is a 25-year-old project who didn't start playing football till he was 18 or like 16 or something that.
He's still on the board right now, bro.
Not anymore.
Actually, Bernard Raymond was just closed by the Colts.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's good value for Raymond at this point.
Another A, and that's that Midwestern connection. They grab a guy from Central Michigan and they grab a guy from Cincinnati. That's being very resourceful.
My buddy Robbie just told me he wanted Ryman too. So I mean, it's like
that's it, man. I wish I was a Colts fan. I told
one thing.
Yeah, you said
one thing I will mention about this year's draft, which gets overlooked a lot with first-year GMs, I think. And I mean, it shouldn't be an excuse for Poles at all. And I don't think Poles has done bad necessarily. It's just the Jones pick that I'm skeptical of. But the Bears scouts spent all year scouting what Ryan Pace wanted them to scout.
That's fair. That's a good point, actually.
Ryan Pace's orders of what, he gave the marching orders.
Well, Pace has done pretty well in the draft for the most part outside of those top picks. So, I mean, like,
he has.
I can't hate on
but
him,
like, it's a tough thing to navigate, I think. Like, walking into someone else's plan and trying to make it their own and trying to change it or do whatever. Like, I think that's a tough thing to do.
I did not know.
So, like, I think that, like, Pace did well in drafting, but he didn't do well his first year in Chicago because he was going off Phil Emery's marching orders, That's the way I see it. That's the way I like to look at it.
I saw that tweet earlier. It was the Atlanta Falcons draft from when it was Phil Emery and Ryan Pace.
Yeah. And the 20 Bears that the Falcons signed this offseason.
Bro, they got him playing in the Austrian league, bro.
Chicago Falcons.
Dude, he spent 6 months in the Austrian military when he turned 18 because he had to, because it's a law over there.
I take everything that I say back about him being 25 years old. He was in the military already, and he's the most interesting 25-year-old in the draft. Like, his background is wild. He's 23 in my eyes.
He was from Austria. He got into football when he was on vacation in Melbourne, Australia, and a coach. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other Daniel Falele when I'm saying that. Never mind. That's Daniel Falele. Sorry.
Wasn't Ryman the Austrian guy?
Yeah, he's Austrian. So Falele's Australian, and he ran to a scout in Australia, and the scout offered him a scholarship on the spot when he was 15, just based on his size.
I got you,
bro.
Yeah,
that's where Schwarzenegger's from, is Austria.
Yeah, the Austrian oak.
You got some strength in there somewhere in those bones.
Yeah.
Raymond's a freak. I have no doubt about that. In the second round, I didn't think the value was there. In the third round, the value was there.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick there.
I know we didn't have him mocked in the first, and that was something that we talked about the first time and the second time that we went through the mock draft. But third round, I really like the pick in that spot.
And then too, it's like what I just said a little bit ago. It's like the Colts are very resourceful with their local teams. You get a guy from Cincinnati, you get a guy from Central Michigan.
The Bears are not. The Bears have not been.
The Bears are not. I mean,
they haven't been in my lifetime, really. I mean, ever since Jerry Angelo, maybe. Jerry Angelo was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like, all right, so let's talk about today as a whole, right? So you guys aren't as high on the Velus Jones pick. I don't hate it. I can see where your disappointments are because, like, yeah, there are more polished route runners, there are better receivers, but like that speed is that speed, bro. 4.3.
That speed, 4.3 is 4.3.
That kills.
Yeah.
Speed kills.
I mean, I can't. That speed matters.
The upside could really be there with Velus Jones, so I don't want to act like I hate it. I just like so
much of it comes down to like what you're asking him to do versus what he's capable of doing, and like understands what to do. Like Cordero Patterson is a great example.
Oh yeah,
extreme athlete, extremely talented football player in the right role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's going to come down to the coaches and how they use Velus Jones.
Yeah. So let's go through today. Ron, you can pop into Joey. I'll start with you. Favorite pick, least favorite pick. I think I know who everyone's least favorite pick is, but we'll start with the favorite pick.
Yeah, I like where they got this guy at the most. I like the Jaquan Brisker pick. I think that's just such a solid pick.
As you predicted 2 moments before it happened.
Yeah, and I wasn't the only one, too. I think Quintin did, too. Did you?
Yeah.
Like Bdon, I can't remember if you did or not, but no, I mean, that's a great pick. Like, he just seemed like a value. He seemed like a guy they could have taken a spot before that when they picked at 39 because of the value there. I thought they would have been good value there. So I think him side by side, Eddie Jackson, I think he's good enough to play the box. I think he's good enough to play. He could even play free safety if you really wanted him to. I want Eddie to have that roaming ability, that playmaking ability. And I think Brisker can play the box, and then you can kind of let Eddie do that more alongside of him because I think Brisker's actually that versatile. And so I really like that pick a lot. I like the Gordon pick as well. It's just I wanted Booth there for the cornerback, but I'm just going to be honest. But I like the Gordon pick a lot too. So both those picks like would be my favorite, but top favorite, Brisker, and then yeah, it's pretty much my thoughts on that. Brisker is like the guy that, like I said, he's really versatile. And
we saw him possibly see. I mean, me and you talked about him possibly sneaking into the first round yesterday. I remember that because I
thought it was possible. Yeah,
I told you. I said, dude, I like that under 1.5 safeties bet, and I would have got my back broken out on the last pick of the night. So I'm glad I didn't. I
told you over.
I didn't take it.
I didn't like the juice on it. Though. I didn't end up betting
over
it.
was like minus 300, so that's something that would not make its way into my bet slip. But yeah, like the under had legs until the Minnesota Vikings decided.
Well, and I'll tell you what broke my back yesterday is I thought that over 4.5 cornerbacks, they didn't count.
No, it was the ACC people, wasn't it?
And the ACC at the same. I needed both at the double whammy, so I was hoping Booth went just for that because
I was just about to say you needed Booth, bro, bad.
Yeah, Clemson would have been Clemson, and would have gotten the ACC over, would have gotten that over for the CBs or the DBs. So I didn't get either one. So I'm like, fuck.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I don't know if you were in here. I got locked out of all the bets that I was about to place because I tried to place them too late. So I went full sicko mode and only picked exact picks, and I did not do well.
Oh, no.
I didn't get one until Garrett Wilson, let's say. And that plus 250 didn't make up for all the juice. I didn't take all 9 picks before that, but like I took a Kwanu. I took Sauce because remember I had Sauce at plus 600 to go 3, and I was very stunned.
There was too much smoke behind some of those other picks.
I was
shocked when it was Stingley because I thought Stingley was going to go to the Vikings at 12 and it was going to be the perfect match for them. They didn't end up getting him, but yeah, I mean, Quentin, take over. Wait, I mean, you might have the same. Ryan
it's Jaquan Brisker. I think it's like Brisker is my favorite pick. I like Tyler Gordon, but I didn't have the conviction, to use a Ryan Pace term, Ryan Paceism, about Gordon. Brisker was just, I mean, it felt like a clear choice there. Even though you'd already taken a defensive back, it was like, you couldn't pass on Brisker there as far as I was concerned.
Shot.
So that was just a very strong pick. Just easy choice for me.
His leadership abilities too. I'll just say that at Penn State,
he was a captain, wasn't he?
He was, he was a leader on that defense, and he always seemed to know where to be. He was very smart.
He was big in that Auburn game too. You remember the Auburn game early in the season before conference play kicked off? He was big in that game, keeping Auburn at bay.
Absolutely.
Ron, step in, my guy.
Yeah, I like the Brisker pick, and I'm going to go back to what Quintin and I talked about when you had your stress piss there quickly.
Rob made some great points.
I wish it was a trough. I wish it was a trough.
I wish it was a trough too, just for your sake. But
not.
In a game that your players that don't have a position set and can do multiple things are becoming more and more valuable. Brisker, as mentioned actually by Richard Sherman, obviously knows something about playing DB in the NFL. Said that, Brisker can come down and be a nickel corner. He can drop back and be your true safety, and he can fill in the box. That's everything you ask of a Tampa 2 concept 4-3 safety. Like he fits the mold. This is a guy that people should get excited about in Chicago.
He's pretty decent in man coverage, to your point, Ron. He's pretty good in man coverage.
I would honestly argue this is the best guy they've tried to pair with Eddie Jackson since Eddie Jackson was a rookie. I think he can be a better pairing than Amos was because I think he fills down in the box better than Amos did.
And I think too, okay, so this is going to sound wrong because Eddie Jackson should be the leader in that secondary round. Come back. I want to see your beautiful beard. No homo, pause. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, bro, we'll write it out as a regular episode of Bears on Tap until we close out. But Jaquan Brisker, man, like, that's a guy that can come in and you could throw a fucking C on his chest day one, and it'll stick and it'll mean something. And that's a guy that what you're gonna get every day when you come into work. But I'm a shitbag. I'm also a degenerate gambler. I got the first pick right. It was plus 350. I'm all over Kyler Gordon, baby. That's my guy. Washington. Like I said, I was sitting here watching highlights like I referred to earlier in the stream, like Jimmy Fallon at the end of Fever Pitch. I really like between Booth and Gordon. That's what sold me on making that bet at them getting a defensive back. And I thought too in the back end of it, this is foreshadowing. I thought Brisker I thought of the people that could be available. It was Petrie, Brisker, Booth. And then eventually what we got, which is Gordon. I thought at least 3 of those guys would be available. And I'm a BPA guy, man, especially when you're a team that needs so much, bro. It doesn't matter. We're playing positionless football at this point. You pick the best player available on the draft board at the time. And I think first 2 picks, they got it right. They went right with Gordon and they went right with Brisker. If they didn't get Brisker after picking Gordon, maybe I'd have a little bit of a different sentiment. But they got them both. And I think it's a ballsy move to go defense twice when your offense is clearly lacking so much. So I think, like, it's such a Chicago Bears thing to do. It is who we are. It's in our identity to play good defense. Nakobe Dean is still on the board. Maybe we somehow sneak into him at 148. That's definitely not going to happen, so don't listen to me. But – we got 2 pieces that I think can come and contribute right away in the secondary. And I think at the very least, Velus Jones is going to give us some exciting plays next year and some very juicy anytime touchdown scorers.
Yeah, I think Velus Jones is going to hit a few home runs. I believe that.
100%, dude.
The Bears defense got a lot better today. It might be a pretty thick unit again.
And that's what we were worried about the most.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they did this, though, because sorry, Ron, not to cut you off. No. I think this is absolutely what we needed more than, yes, we need to protect Fields. We need to get him help on the line. We need to get him help in the receiver room. My preference, though, if you're going to take a shot on some of these receivers like a Byron Pringle, like they did in the free agency, there might be some untapped potential there, given a little bit more playing time, stuck behind some other guys there in Kansas City, like a guy like Pringle, I'm just saying, for example. While we have that, I would rather address the big issues in the room. Get the guys that Eberflus wants too. Like Eberflus is a lot. This is a lot to do with him, with the defensive. Yeah, but getting the guys that he wants for his scheme. He's seen guys that can take advantage of the system he was running in Indianapolis, and now you put that all together here in Chicago, and then put your stamp on it and get the guys that you really are calling for. It's your team now.
Draft. I know you guys weren't a part of the podcast last year, but like Quintin, you can appreciate this statement. As an NFL GM, you have your guy. You want to go and get your guy. You hear that statement all throughout the draft. And I think, like, honestly, like, when the Bears came into today, they thought we're either going to go wide receiver first or we're going to go cornerback first, because there's going to be a run on them and there's going to be an excess amount of talent at that position.
Yeah.
I think given what happened at the receiver position before us, obviously you had the Packers trading up, getting Christian Watson. That's a guy that a lot of Bears fans wanted. I told you, Joey, about the reverse line movement where he was minus 115 on both sides and it switched to minus 150 under 42.5. And I honestly didn't see him getting past us. If he was available at 39, the Bears probably would have picked him.
That's why the Packers did that.
No doubt.
That's what the Packers did.
And the Packers saw that and they said, let's get one more over on the Bears. We're going to go up and get them. And
great pick by them. I mean,
really. I hope he doesn't turn out. I never wish ill will on no man, but he didn't come to the Bears. He went to the Packers.
I hope he struggles for 4 years and then finds his feet someplace else.
Yeah, and then he finds his feet in Chicago for a way lower price.
Were you guys as high on Amari Rodgers as a lot of everyone else was when he was drafted too? Because I think a lot of people really liked Amari Rodgers.
I liked him.
I know what he's.
I liked him. I didn't love him. I liked him a lot. Like I liked him in the 3rd, 4th round.
Okay, because I'm just happy that has not panned out so far, because I was thinking that was one that was going to pan out as well.
I hear that Rodgers doesn't like him because he has the same name and there's only room for one.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Just all the Rodgers jabs. We need all the Rodgers jabs today.
Wait, did the Eagles pick a receiver yet or no?
They
traded for AJ Brown.
I was going to say they don't need to.
Oh, they don't need one.
You say that, but they still need one, bro. They got
Devontae Smith too. He's fine.
They got Devontae and AJ Brown.
They need a third option. Calvin Austin.
Okay,
they need
maybe
that slot guy. They need that slot guy. Think about that. If you had Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and Calvin Austin, but Jalen Hurts, the
Eagles are actually scaring me, man. They've had a decent little draft. I don't know who they're getting at.
As someone who violently assaulted the Eagles plus 7.5 in the playoffs, thinking I was sharp, they will be good this year.
I hammered Tampa in that game.
I thought I was sharp with that.
Quintin was the only one out of this group. I took the Eagles too.
I thought I was sharper than a fucking pencil with that pick, and I was not. And then I followed that pick up with what you heard earlier, Quentin. Cowboys minus 3.5.
I hammered that one too.
Yeah, that was a bad day for me. That was not a great day.
I was on the wrong side of that one.
Dude, the Eagles have the beef jerky guy too, like we already talked about. The Eagles are killing it, man. AJ Brown, the beef jerky dude. Like this is
Malik Willis and Matt Corral might be sleeping tonight without a job. To be honest,
they got one quarterback drafted at this point. Pickett?
No. Ritter went to the Falcons.
Oh, Ritter went. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, dude, I like that to the Falcons. You give him some time to sit and wait under Mariota. And I mean, dude, Mariota's not a terrible quarterback. He's not great. He's definitely not what he was drafted at. But I mean, you could probably shake some a little bit with Atlanta. Like Atlanta was a frisky team last year. They just were a mobile quarterback away, and Matt Ryan was a cement mixer. But I mean, they were a decent team. And don't get me started by Young Ho Koo.
I don't buy it with Atlanta. The Falcons always let you down.
Yeah, I know. All right, so hear me out.
Especially when you're betting on them, man.
On this conspiracy theory, have you ever placed a bet on the Falcons? Right, we all have. Everyone say aye.
Have you ever lost a bet on the Falcons?
Okay.
Is the question.
Not 2 years, I have.
Well, yeah, no, the Falcons, they're on my ban list. They're on my ban list.
Kobe Dean. Falcons, and I cut it off. I was like, I'm out.
Dean.
The Eagles, bro. We had them getting – I don't hate them getting Dean considering what they've already got.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's a
this
great
is-
risk pick at this point because
this
they
is
already
my-
built some things over there.
my thing about the Falcons, bro. So if you've ever watched a Falcons game, right, and you've had a bet on them, right? Have you ever seen Arthur Blank on the sideline?
No, I've never paid attention to it.
Bro,
When
I'm
you
not
s-
even watching their games
Listen.
when I bet on them. I can't help. I got to stay away from
Listen.
watching it because I'll get mad.
When you see Arthur Blank make his way down to the sideline, you grab your TV remote and you go, because it's over. The
Get
second
the fuck out.
Arthur Blank's Louis Vuitton, Balmain, whatever the fuck he be wearing on his feet, the second they touch that turf, the onside kick gets recovered. The bomb gets completed. Whatever could happen that shouldn't happen happens when Arthur Blank is on that sideline.
Ron, can you please put his face on the screen right now?
Arthur Blank, just like an Arthur Blank meme. He looks like he should be in the mob. Like, he's a cool looking guy. I would probably have a couple.
He does look like a
old
mobster.
fashions
There's no question.
I would have a couple old fashions or something fancy with him.
Quintin, who was
Not
the guy?
a Miller Lite.
Who I would have you got to have a Frangelico with him or something. Hey,
Mhm.
Quintin, who was the guy that you had written down as his totally believable fact or whatever that he looks like he just talks in mob talk or whatever? all day long?
I actually ended up changing that one. That was Alec Pierce, though. It was refuses to or will only speak like a Prohibition era mobster when he's in the team facility.
He talks with Arthur Blank.
Real
basically.
quick, while we're here, look at Arthur Blank, and then for a quick second, look to the left. You see that guy all the way to the left, Kareem Benzema.
What do you do? Fumble?
Listen, anytime goal scorer this week, Real Madrid money line. Come follow me when those both cash. I promise you, I'll put my life on it. That dude scores goals every game. It's the Champions League. It's the biggest competition in all of soccer. This is a football podcast. But Kareem Benzema, anytime goal scorer, Real Madrid money line, both plus money. Come find me when you're Bezos.
There we go.
You get a little bit of everything here, bro. Joey, you know how I am with them soccer picks, bro.
Yeah, it's double chance. It's double chance Don.
Double chance Don. You get the tie or the win. But who's this next pick? Who's Steelers got?
Malik Willis.
They're just doubling up on QBs.
Anyone could take him now; it would be good value.
Someone
Doesn't
drank
matter.
my last beer, and I don't know where it is. But I think it's gone.
DeMarvin Leal.
I'm getting really scared about this Carson Strong pick now because all these QBs that are just.
Someone drank my last beer. It was me.
I'm getting really scared about this Carson Strong under 116 and a half.
All right, so can we talk about how the Eagles, I know you guys saw me do the tweet last night where I was like, the Eagles literally just got finesse out of every receiver they could have gotten, and then I mushed them into getting A.J. Brown. And then now they get Nakobe Dean.
Seahawks Carson Strong. I'm sorry, just maybe.
Oh, my God. Joey, yeah. Oh, Joey,
Carson Strong with the other Seahawks, or Drew Lock, Geno Smith, and Jacob Eason is the ultimate potential quarterback room.
Just do it, man. Just do it, please. Since I've already mentioned Jacob Eason too, please do it, please.
I mean, he's a better prospect than Jacob Eason.
Oh yeah. I just meant ridiculous arm talent,
right?
with flaws.
Because Eason went
Seahawks are 109.
To the Colts.
Eason was 121 or 122 when he went.
DeMarvin, that's a nice name, DeMarvin. I like that. Just throw D in front of Marvin. That's a good combination. 8.5 sacks.
Who else needs a quarterback? The Commanders they haven't taken one, but I don't know if they're thinking they need one, but
I mean,
they might take a shot.
Their quarterback's on my broadcast right now. I'm looking at RG3 as we speak.
Who else we got? Oh, Lions,
Dude, the Patriots are such weirdos. They drafted Cole Strange and Tyquan Thornton. Can we just talk about how Bill Belichick's not
and
a
Danny
GM?
Osmond is announcing the pick. Can we make that noticeable?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Ron, can you tell me how many more picks we have left in the third round? And
a lot. There are a lot.
All right,
we are on pick 86. It goes to 105. So
I didn't realize the third round was I guess
top picks.
Listeners and viewers,
first comp pick round.
We are at Ron's discretion, but I have no plans but a $50 Taco Bell run.
I mean, I'm watching this entire thing anyways, so why? I don't care.
Ron,
I say we wrap it up here shortly because I think everybody is Well, no, because the Bears have picked. We know what the Bears are going to do. I honestly think, like, from here on
We're
out,
just
most
shooting the
exciting
shit,
thing
being
is,
guys,
like,
being dudes.
what is Malik Willis going to do? I mean, I certainly think we
All
can
right.
at least wrap
All
up
right,
the
let's
screen
set
here
that
for
marker.
our,
Let's set that marker right now. Okay.
friends.
As a podcast, Quintin is our guy. Malik Willis is Quintin's guy. We stay on the stream until he gets drafted.
But what happens when he doesn't get drafted?
If he doesn't
He's
get
not
drafted,
getting
Quintin, I don't know what to say.
Hours?
Yeah.
If he's not drafted by now, he's not getting drafted.
If he doesn't get
I don't
I'm
drafted,
get
trying to
it.
look at the team
You
still
guys are
around.
going to see me snoring into the wee hours of the night, and we can just keep a beat on cam on. But there's no way in hell that he does not get drafted in like the next 10 picks.
I mean, he's going. He could go 97 or 98, in my opinion. I think that could be like 97, 98, 99, possibly. I mean, I don't know, but what the Browns are thinking with the off-field stuff, with Deshaun Watson or whatever. But
oh yeah, I was gonna say Malik Willis is not a shitbag. He's a good
no,
guy.
just like they're like own
I was like
stuff.
off-field. I was like, where did this off-field stuff go?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like that's just what I'm thinking. Carson Strong could probably be in that range too, maybe. I don't know. Sam Howell's still there, right? So like, I'm getting scared about mine. I know Malik Willis. He's probably going though end of this round, I would say, or like beginning of fourth round.
All right, so we'll make a deal because I know look, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm not a math guy, but 3.04.45. That's 3 hours. We're longer than a fucking Harry Potter film right now. Let's we'll go 3 more picks. And while we're waiting for these 3 more picks, while it is kind of hard to dissect day 3, especially given where we're at in the draft on day 3, we'll go around the room. Let's pick a position that we want to attack, and maybe a guy that you know of that position that could be available. What is it, 148, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
that's a
148,
that's
I believe.
a long ways away. A lot of people are going to get picked in between then. We'll start with you, Joey. What position would you like to see attacked at 148? And if you have a guy, let him ride.
I mean, I don't care at this point between just offense. Like if it's going to be wide receiver, you could double up there, go another wide receiver if that's the best player, or you can go offensive line. I would prefer probably offensive line. I'm going to go ahead and say that, like, you never know who's going to be available. What's the pick number again? I forget.
It's 148. And what are we at right now? Like 87?
We're at 87, yeah. So, you never actually know who's going to be available now, because now once you start getting to this next level of the rounds here, like, everything kind of gets tossed out the window. The mocks are certainly out the window. Like, it's just how teams evaluate and how teams, like, look at it. Like, they have the Bill Belichick boards up at this point in the draft.
They got the dog in the draft room and shit.
Yeah, they got their guy, right? So, like, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, if Kennard's around, I would like him. There's the offensive lineman guys. I think I really like. David Bell is still on the board, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of people that had him mocked in the second round, myself included. Like, I didn't think he would last this long.
Yeah, I mean, and Quintin was saying, like, he likes Gray a little bit more. He likes some of these other guys.
Bo Melton and Danny Gray are 2 of mine.
Yeah, so, like,
absolutely,
it's possible that, like, a guy like David Bell, because of, not having the best measurables, because of not, like, sticking out from that standpoint as much as some other guys, that he falls. And at that point, you're going to get a quality all-around receiver as far as, like, just talent goes and production goes. And I think I would absolutely hammer somebody like David Bell at the 148 spot if he falls there.
Dude, I don't hate that at all. I mean, I know it goes against the grain grabbing 2 receivers, but
there it is.
Uh-oh.
Malik Willis is a Tennessee Titan.
Wow.
See you later, everyone. We are
Steal the draft.
I'm Bdon 300.
Rob's happy because he can log off.
Ron, you could have saved yourself. I said 3 more picks, but we'll ride out after this. Okay, so Malik Willis and Titans. We'll dissect that. We'll dissect that. Quentin, take the floor.
Yeah.
If we can throw up the big board, I highlighted my names on there. There's a lot of guys who I still like. Max Mitchell out of so if you just highlight receiver as well, like O-line and receiver, the interior O-line, O-tackle, and receiver, I highlighted guys for each of those spots. David Bell, obviously, I don't know how far he'll fall, but if he's still there at the 148, I'm all for it. Max Mitchell, a guy out of Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, very technically sound. I think he can play in this league. He might have kick inside, but I think he can play in the NFL. Matt Waletzko, offensive tackle. He can play offensive tackle. Out of North Dakota, the jumping competition is going to be huge for him, but he has some outstanding athletic traits. He's going to have to learn technique better, and he has a ways to go, but he has some very good traits that you can develop. Zach Tom, guy played center and offensive tackle at Wake Forest. Very impressive background. He was graduated cum laude from Wake Forest. Very smart guy.
He's wicked smart.
Yeah, wicked smart. He can come in and play center. You can kick Lucas Patrick over to guard. I don't think you'll put Tom at guard. I think you'll keep him at center because he's light. He needs to pack on some weight, which is a better fit for center. Danny Gray is a wide receiver I love. If you haven't watched this guy, do yourself a favor. Go look at some of his plays, some of his sky videos, some of his highlights. This guy's speed it jumps off the tape. You see it and you're just like, whoa. He reminds me of Darnell Mooney. He reminds me a lot of Darnell Mooney. Romeo Doubs dominated at the Senior Bowl practices. Like, he was just dominating guys. That's potential that you're willing to bet on, as far as I'm concerned. He put up good numbers in Nevada. It's an air raid attack, heavy downfield with a gunslinging Carson Strong at quarterback. So, like, there's some, I don't know how much was Strong, how much was Doubs, how much their tight end Cole Turner put up big numbers too, how much was scheme. But Doubs has some of the physicals that you're interested in. He made some big highlight plays. Bo Melton is similar to Danny Gray in a lot of ways. His speed can jump off the tape. I don't think as much as Danny Gray, but he's a wide receiver I'm willing to bet on that speed. It's one of the reasons why I was disappointed with the Velus Jones pick, because you got a few guys who have that same type of speed and are a little more developed a little later in the draft, but that's neither here nor there. Logan Bruss, he's just a big old Wisconsin offensive tackle. And
you give me a lineman.
You kick him inside.
Yeah,
he can play inside.
He's a brute. He's a brute.
And then Kevin Austin Jr., as Bdon's been saying the whole show.
Irish on tap, friend of the program.
Yeah. This guy's got X wide receiver 1 traits written all over him, as long as his head's on straight and as long as he can learn and develop and put the work in. That's the question with him. But if he didn't get suspended his sophomore year and then break his foot and then rush back and break it again in the same season and put up the numbers that like he did this previous year, this guy would be a first, second round pick.
100%.
Like,
he's
got the talent.
Too, yeah, so he has that pedigree. So, like, I'll take over a little bit on.
Let me just say Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a guy who's been overlooked a little more than I think he should, because he was playing next to Tyler. He was playing across from Tyler Smith, who went in the first round. He was the right tackle. He's not an athletic freak like Tyler Smith is. I don't think he has anything detrimental about his athleticism. He might kick inside, but extremely tight. He's like the polar opposite of Tyler Smith. Extremely experienced and technically sound. So there's a lot of O-line who I think you can get late.
On the Kevin Austin front, not that I'm saying that's who I want the Bears to take, obviously, because we took Velus Jones. That was a pipe dream. I even said it to his agent when I set up the interview. I said, man, that Chicago Bear, blue look a little different on Kevin, but he's with Rosenhaus, so he's going to get taken care of regardless of which way the cookie crumbles. But I really like with what Quintin said to Kevin Austin. It was, as a Notre Dame fan, and Joey, I know you like Notre Dame, I know you like Iowa, but like, I bleed the blue and green. Kevin Austin was always like exactly what Quintin said. It's like, if we get him at what his 100% is, he's a first or second round draft pick. And I think like that's the reason why that I think like if they didn't pick Velus Jones, that would have been a great pick. Like if they would have went O-line right here, they could have sat back and grabbed a guy like Kevin Austin at 148. But I think like it's got to be offensive line right there in that spot. I know we don't have the best history of finding like offensive linemen late in the draft, but you cannot let that that void go another off season without being addressed. And I think like you have to go offensive line with 148 and let the rest of the chips fall where they may. But an offensive lineman must be selected tomorrow. Otherwise, no matter what we did today, I'll look at this draft as not what it could have been. I won't say it's a failure because I think Brisker and Gordon are great picks, and I think Velus Jones has that boomer bust potential. Okay,
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. It's either we're going to get exactly what we want out of Velus Jones or Velus or however you say it. I'm not the pronunciation guy, or we're not going to get anything that we want from him.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anything in between. So that's the thing that kind of scares me about that pick. But I think between Brisker and Gordon, you did a great job. It reminds me a lot of what they did with Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson a few years ago, where it's like, you don't have a first-round pick. You have to try and find a first-round talent in those second-round picks. And I think they did that. And I'm happy with what we did today. I think we became a lot better of a football team today. We'll find out come fall, but they got a receiver, they got a safety, and they got a cornerback. 3 pressing issues on this football team. And we ride into tomorrow looking for maybe an O-lineman, maybe a receiver, maybe an extra linebacker, maybe a punter. Maybe we even get the little guy from San Diego State. Maybe you just get that need knocked out right away. Who knows? But
he'd be better than Brad Maynard, that's for sure.
At the end of the day, like I said about 15 minutes ago, 3 hours and 15 minutes. If you were in here for a minute, 50 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes, my love for you goes up exponentially depending on what tier you fall in. But either way, I still love you. Quintin, I really want to thank you, man. The draft guide, hopping on my ugly ass,
100%.
draft mock calls twice for a couple hours. That was a 5-6 person call. Ron, you were on those calls last year. Those were long calls. That's blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of beers as well. But it's been a fun, this has been a lot of fun. I know last year we just did, it was more of like a Zoom party, but I think this is something I've always wanted to do as someone that's watched the draft, as someone that loves college football. You guys know how much I love college, love the NFL just as much. And to be able to have our own alternate broadcast, it meant everything to me. I know it was great for the brand. My homie who's a Tennessee fan just said, don't sleep on Velus. I fucking love this guy.
Let's go.
Yeah, there he is. Let's go, Schmiddle. That's my boy right there. He just texted me as he came up on in the chat. Schmitty, I love you. You should have go back an hour or so, find my reaction to the Velus Jones pick. I may have been the lone
Hey, differing opinions are good because no one's right on all of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I hope it's the upside we're gonna see. Because I think you're right about the upside. They took safety with the first 2 picks. I mean, safety as far as safer
safety
picks
corner,
and a safety legit, but
no
actually
pun
a safety.
intended, you bastard.
Yeah, no pun intended. Not trying to be that guy, that cornball. But Velus, dude, he's got the upside.
I'm telling you, bro.
There's stuff to be excited about there, without a doubt.
Exactly. But
take it and go with that ball. He can definitely do that.
Jalen Tolbert, they're showing him. Did he just get picked? I'm trying to close this out. He definitely just got picked. But that's neither here nor there. We are Bears on Tap. I'm Bdon 300. You could follow me on Twitter at Bdon 300. I'm Brandon Suarez. I don't know why I did that. That was terrible. But we're going to work on that for the next time around because we're going to still be back on Sunday. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. This was a live stream. This was a one-off event. This was something that me and Quintin really wanted to do a lot. Ron Tap Sportsnet up in the whatever corner it is on your screen, sitting behind the 1s and 2s, putting all the graphics on, coming on for his takes, all that. Joey, thank you for hopping in when you could, but we're still going to be back on Sunday to break down the draft as a whole. But like I said, if you were able to join us tonight, this was a dream come true for all of us. This was a real fun time. Like I said, I drank my last beer. I thought someone else drank it. There's no one else in my apartment, so I don't know who else would have been. So if you can just take that statement for what it is and take how much fun we've had tonight as it is, we're here for day 3. We're going to be back with more written content, and then when it all wraps up on Sunday, we'll be back live on the Bears on Tap page to go over all the picks, where we see things kind of shaking out, and then we're already in the NFL season. This is
in my eyes, Quentin, I know you probably view this the same way. This is like that real first day of the new season, and we're there now. And with that being said, do you guys have any wrap-up thoughts on today's picks? Me being a jag-off, me drinking too many beers, Ron being Ron Tap Sportsnet, or Joey just being the cheese man. I hope the Cubs are winning. I know they're not.
They are not.
Yeah, they're not winning. They're not winning, but that's final thoughts. Hey, man, I'm just glad to be here. Like, love hopping on here and talking with you guys, talking Bears football. It's always just a great time. And the Bears didn't completely ruin this for us today. Like
they did not.
They did not completely ruin this, and we can go walk into tomorrow and say, hey, they at least got 2 really strong picks that we like, and a third that we're at least like we can see the upside there.
50-50. We're 50-50.
Yeah, we're at least like we either like it or we kind of like it. Like we see where it's going. So it's like I'm happy with this, and yeah, those are final thoughts, man. I'm just not completely upset. I thought maybe they could have traded down. That's about it, though. You know,
Quentin, your boy Jay got Jalen Tolbert.
Okay. Wait, what? My boy Jay?
Cowboys.
Jay.
Oh, Cowboys. Gotcha. I was thinking Jay Cutler. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, no. Stream, your guy.
Yeah.
The guy who's got the barbasol on, who'll be shaking the point and shit. You know?
He goes by Jay mostly, but I think of him as Jayden.
Okay. That's
so
what I
like
call
it's
my brother.
Yeah.
His name's John. So
like
just strong name.
So you're like, who's Jay?
Final thought on the Bears. Like, I think it's important to really think this through as like, this is why trading up all the time is not good.
Exactly. Because
your margin of error becomes so thin that you feel like you need to hit every single pick after multiple years of doing it. And that's just not realistic. The Bears drafted 2 Hall of Famers and 1 borderline Hall of Famer as far as I'm concerned right now.
And I love that mindset.
Let's go.
I love it.
That's good. But if the fact that one of them might only be a borderline Hall of Famer, maybe that's not enough because they traded up a lot, you know. And I was right there cheering along for the trade ups, but like they hurt you in the long term. So that's just my final thought on it. I love the first 2 picks they made. They were an offense. I know Chicago wants to burn down Soldier Field right now because they were an offensive picks. The board just doesn't fall that way sometimes.
I mean,
and you can't go sacrificing your board and telling your scouts what they just did all this work on these guys isn't worth it anymore, just because the board fell a certain way. Like, these guys do a job, you know, and you need to respect the job that they did when they're telling you that would be a huge reach for the offensive guy.
On the line. You know, they're going to be selling cars in the off season as Soldier Field's burning down and we move to Arlington Heights because they didn't pick the right guy. But
yeah.
Ron, go ahead, take over, and then I'll take us out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys in terms of the picks. I really like the first 2 picks. I think that Brisker pick is going to maybe be the best pick of the draft out of the 3 so far. I really
so much
like that
value
pick.
in that pick. Yeah,
so much value. I can't wait to see what they do with him defensively and just move him around. That just strikes me as a guy that's going to have a field day in that defense and be a big time playmaker. But no, this was a blast. This was a good time. Glad to got to join you boys and talk some NFL football in the draft. And yeah, we'll be back on Sunday and we'll run it back and do it all over again. And I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, it honestly kind of flew by. I mean, I know we wanted to do like a 6-hour stream, which would have been banana lands, but I think 3 hours, a nice Lord of the Rings film in. We did a great job. We got to talk a lot of the picks, maybe not all of them, but I'm a liar on Twitter often. I know I said I would talk all of the picks, but I mean, when you got a guy like Butkus in here, when you got Joey popping in, and you got Ron on the 1s and 2s, it's a team effort. We all did a great job tonight. I really appreciate everyone for joining us. Like I said, whether it was for a minute, 50 seconds, an hour and 50 minutes, whatever it may be, the support is always appreciated. And we'll be back with you guys on Sunday to take a full picture look at what the Bears do, not only in the draft, because we're going to wait until after they sign the UDFAs, because if you think there was a lot of talent in this draft, wait until the draft is over and they sign UDFAs that could be impact players on this team. So we're at that point with our roster where, like I said at the beginning of the stream, the Texans need everything. We need just about damn near everything. So I'm not opposed to any of the UDFA signings or what they pick
here in the next 24 hours. But this is the end of the stream. We really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. This was Bears on Tap live for the 2022 second and a lot of the third round. I'm going to just say the whole second round essentially and a lot of the third round on Tap Sportsnet live stream. We really do appreciate you guys for all tuning in. I got nothing else for you guys, and bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.